Good evening, everybody. We've made it to the final round of the Formula Sprint 1 Championship in GPVWC in the year 2024, and we have an exceptional finale ahead of us. Joining me this evening, it is none other than Lorenzo Eterovic. So, Lorenzo, thank you very much for stepping in on Ed Hunter's behalf. How are you getting on?
I'm doing pretty well for myself, Eoin, and thank you for having me here, and thank you for everyone from the media team for entrusting me with this job today.
No bother at all. It's great to see how you fit in with our broadcast. Remco, Zeeuw, of course, is our director once again, and I'm on Harmon. So, Sao Paulo, Brazil, is the venue with the the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. And of course, it is October 31st. So if you celebrate Halloween and/or Diwali, then a very happy evening to you all who celebrate. So yeah, a remarkable occasion to have our season finale on a landmark day, whatever whatever holiday you prefer to practice. And we have a near full house. I think just one absentee at the moment for VMS Sun Edits. So we will see how things go. But of course, the headline news is the opportunity for the Teams Championship to be won by either Netrex GP or Multiforce. So Netrex are a fairly young team, but they have not won anything as a collective, whereas Multiforce, they've got Mike Quint as the brand new champion. They previously won the FS1 or the equivalent back in the day in 2011. They won the Teams Championship way back then, but of course MS Performance, they need a remarkable set of miracles to go their way. They are still within reach of Netrex mathematically, but in all honesty, they need to finish first and second in race one, get themselves lined up in the best possible placements on the grid, Lorenzo, and they need to hope for everything to go their way. So let's get going with qualifying, of course. Chance to experiment here at Menno Plant, just get some time on the board.
That is right, Eoin. MS Performance have a hell of a job ahead of them. They're on 517 points, meanwhile Multiforce and Netrex are on 573 and 577 respectively. So they will have to rely on a lot of miracles for them and a lot of misfortune for Netrex and Multiforce to get even within a chance of winning the Constructors' Championship. And while I will say, as I have said before the broadcast started, the Constructors is the main theme today. However, Frank Hamming, 26 points behind Viktor Ivanov, still a chance to get P2 in the standings.
Exactly, yes. He could get a double podium or be within the top 5 twice, and maybe it's a bit of an off-color day for Victor, and then he would end up going from a championship contender to finishing 3rd in the standing. So Frank Hamming will be a superb outcome. If he can finish 2nd in the championship, that would be a huge goal for him. So we'll see our first times across the line now, and his advantage to Parallax Volpino. Matthews Micah has set the best time, 1:13.7, ahead of our champion Mike Quinn. So here is the aforementioned Ivanov, who really took the series by storm in the first half of the year. Unfortunately, some enforced absences meant that he fell away in the championship. In fairness, he did keep it going longer than we all anticipated. It was only decided in the last fortnight in the Circuit of the Americas, as of course he managed to get bumped up to the win in what we thought was the decisive pass at Singapore race 2. So he was able to keep it going a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm sure Ivanov, wherever he goes in 2025, he will be one to watch. He has been a pleasure to witness all of those race 1 victory streaks that he had, and he competed for many podiums and so on and so forth. It's just a shame that he had to miss months of action, and that proved to be costly in the end. But Munier, of course, another driver who has stepped in for a temporary format. Of course, he hasn't been a full-time driver. He has performed admirably as well, particularly that race 1 in Italy where he swept the board completely. And of course, we saw him in Kota 2 weeks ago. He beat Pavel Andrzejewski in that intense head-to-head, and he'll want to get Kings Racing one last win to really propel them up the leaderboard. We've really been worried about Kings Racing at times this year. They were struggling for finishes and points, but then they got a huge boost as well. It was Chris Butcher got them on the podium mid-season, and it really started to turn around for them once Munier was put on board. Lorenzo, and of course, Stefan Ruwald, who had his shining moment at this very track a couple of years ago in Super League. He became our world champion then, so he's back with MS Performance to try and help them as best he can.
That is right, Stefan Ruwald is back for the first time since Canada this season in FS1, and he is a former champion, as you said. But my question is, will that massive period of inactivity maybe be detrimental to him in the end?
It certainly could, but I know the brief from the MS Performance leadership, I'm sure, will be just plug in and go, give it your best shot. We need as many points as we can get just to make sure we are at least the 3rd best team in the championship. HGP could, of course, catch them up. We have to mention that as well. HGP are 484 points, so the 517 of MS Performance is catchable. Again, it needs a lot of work. But yeah, the brief for Ruwald will be perform like you did back in San Marino. You got yourself a win there, and we'd like to see that again if at all possible. So yeah, of course, yeah, there will be a bit of rustiness. He hasn't been prolific in the 2024 campaign compared to how we've seen him in the past. So yeah, perhaps he's a bit rusty, but Freilich has just smashed a new top time in there at the 9 minute to go mark, a 1:13.6. Nicely done.
That is right, and I would like to point out Mateusz Schmeichel, newly crowned FS2 champion, stepping in for Parallax Volpino, 2nd currently in qualifying, which suits Parallax Volpino very, very nicely, seeing as they're only 7 points behind Kaizen Kota Racing in the Constructors' Championship, battling for P7.
Yeah, that's right. P7 in the championship, it will be KKR. They've
And he's
got
just
a
gone
lot of work
pole.
to do. Oh, nice. He's returned the favor. So, yeah, Micah not impressed by being taken off pole position. He swipes it straight back by 33 hundredths of a second. So, that's a message to Freilich and anyone else on the grid that Micah is here and wants to get the most out of this season. Of course, Parallax Volpino, they'll feel pretty hard done by it many times. Of course, Andrzejewski got the 2 second places in the last month, and they've come close on a few other occasions with 3rd positions and 4th positions. Patrick Roszak, of course, got some of those as well. So they feel like they're owed a victory at some stage in 2024, because we know KKR have gotten a win, Grafone several wins, and of course Alpha Delta, I suppose you could say, they haven't even had a podium in this campaign, but they've been remarkably consistent. And they've got Russo in 5th position there, and then Lucchini down at 17. So yeah, it is a case where Alpha Delta have been very solid, very consistent. So they'll want to hang on to 5th in the championship, knowing Freilich poses a huge threat to them. And of course, Philip Koenig there, his teammate for this evening, he's just out of the points at the minute, so that favours Alpha Delta at the moment, using their 2 drivers to 1 advantage. But yeah, as I was saying, Parallax Alpino will feel they missed out on multiple chances to get themselves a winner's trophy in this season, and with Micah driving so superbly, they'll be in the contention. But now, of course, it's changed again here, Lorenzo. We've got Munier and Freilich back ahead, so this is a real seesaw contest where it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. This track, beautiful sunshine, it really is bedding in very well for these drivers.
Yeah, we're having a very, very good qualifying session on our hands right now. Essentially a tug of war between 3 people for pole position. Freilich did dethrone Micah for not even a full second before, like Munier said, his pole time for provisional pole, but that is only 0.05 seconds. Only 1/10 separates essentially the top 3, a bit more than 1/10. So yeah, this is anyone's game currently for pole position for race 1.
Oh, a bit wide there, Mike Quint, just missing the idea turning there out of the corner, so he had to use the runoff. So this lap will be discarded, and you'll have to try again with under 6 minutes to go in the session. There's still time, of course, but yeah, he will know that was a mistake of his. That was at least a simple mistake. He didn't crash the car or anything like that, so he can try again, get a new set of tires and refuel to try again. So even off currently 12th position, this should be a temporary thing if this lap is shaping up nicely for him. His target will definitely be to get into the 1:13.8. That'll get him close to Harry Smith, for example. He's just a bit down, unfortunately, in sector 2 through Zeeuw there, and now the beautiful run to the finish line coming up now. Let's see if he decides to complete the lap. Yeah, he'll cross over and he'll log as best he can. So he's got to try getting the low 113s. So it is an improvement to 10. So he just missed out on that 113.8 by 1/10. And he will certainly try again. Oh, Micah, look at this, Lorenzo. He's pushing everything he's got into this lap. Hopefully it's still valid.
Mateusz Micah is just trying to make as big of a statement currently as he can. Currently, well, I say currently, he's the newly crowned FS2 champion, brought in here to help Parallax Volpino get something in the Constructors as well. And he's just got me and said, I am here and be ready for next year, because I am not going to make it easy for any of you.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it will be a huge statement to have our FS2 champion, certainly in the footsteps of Jack Mayer, who did the double in 2023 and 2024. Or sorry, 2022, 2023, getting the years mixed up there. So Mayer did the double as the outgoing champion of FS1. He was already FS2 champion when he came up, and certainly Matthews will want to take that as an example to follow. And he'll certainly be raring to go after a superb campaign in FS2. Freilich, he's got 2 purple sectors here, Lorenzo. Can he secure it and tie it up nicely? Oh, he's done it by 1900ths. That was nicely finished off. They're not quite the perfect lap, but he's back on pole, and we're starting to run out of time. So maybe 2 hot laps remaining for anyone currently in the middle of one. They'll have a chance to log this one and then prepare for one last one. And Lucchini, since I mentioned him, he's got right back up to his teammate. So Alpha Delta, consistent as usual.
Alpha Delta, yes, as consistent as they have been the entire year. One little very fun fact I would like to mention about them: Lucchini and Russo both essentially on the same number of points. Lucchini is on 158 and Russo is on 157, so Alpha Delta definitely, arguably, the most consistent team of the season, as we see Oliver Taras setting personal best for Sector 1 and Sector 2. Currently 11th. Will he rise up the leaderboard? Yes, no, he does. He goes up to P4. Oh. That is excellent for Lunark and for Oliver Taras.
Yes, so Lunark, we know they've had a rough while this season after they joined midway through in 2023. Not been quite the second year they would have liked either. They've come close. Certainly in the Azerbaijan race 1, they were very close to getting the victory. So they'll be perhaps feeling a bit disappointed if they can't beat Kings Racing in the Teams Championship and finish 9th or higher. So yeah, they'll be really determined to get a result here this evening to round off the campaign. Harry Smith 11th at the moment, so it's looking very worrying at the moment for Netrex. Neither driver are in the top 10, so Mike Quint, by holding 7th place, he would be able to certainly put a blow against Netrex unless Harry Smith improves. So he's put in 2 green sectors to get him ahead of Rorschach and into the top 10. So swap around there. Here's Watson. Can he replicate that time? Oh, purple sector 3, but it was let down by the first sector through the Senna S, Curva do Sol, and then towards the Cida de Lago. So the first 3 corners and the straight indicates sector 1. So that's where it can be tricky. But yeah, he's done much better in the back end of the sector. So that could indicate a low downforce setting. Perhaps he wants to get the job done in the quicker sections, and maybe the medium speed corner is not quite what Amari wants out of his setup. So that's a curious one to watch if he's got a lot of pace on the straights.
That is, well, I'm at a loss for words, really. As I was concentrating on what you were saying, with all due apologies. I was concentrating on Victor Ivanov, as he's currently set personal best sector 2, and he is back down in P12 currently, which is not good for him. He is still currently in front of Frank Hamming, but will he rise up? He will. He goes up to P6.
Yeah, that's much more like it for Ivanov. Just 15 seconds away from the checkered flag being waved. So anyone on the hot lap, such as Rualtz, who's got the sector 1 best time of all, he's got to be mindful of the curbs there out of Larangina. Now down the curve, Pinerino, now the turn 10 hairpin. A lot of laps can be ended here if you're not careful. Let's see how he gets on before Jun Sao. Here comes the split line, and it's a bit down. Yeah, he's lost control. Thankfully, it's not a full spin. Oh, and Mounier. Oh, he's in ribbons here. He's left debris everywhere. You can just see the background there by the barrier, the silver barrier on the top of your screen. So that looks like the incident zone that takes Mounier out of the session. And Lucas Tylene, he's peaking right at the end here. He's got P5. He's got a green sector 1. Can he back it up? Not quite, but he's got the final straight to go. And this will be a super result for KKR to round off the season. It'll be James Knox in 17th for the team. So Tylene flying the flag for them at the moment. Is there any way past Taras? Oh, he takes a long run to the line, and it is good green, but it doesn't actually improve because Rorschach has managed to get his Parallax Alpino into the top 5 as well. So the rise of the Canadian team just at the end, they've gotten themselves a double top 5. But Menno Clant has got a settle for 16th as he managed to set a 113.9 right at the end. So a lot of drivers trying their best to find the last possible fraction of a second, but it is Szymon Frelick once again on pole, Lorenzo.
That's right, Szymon Frelick ending the qualifying reigns of this season on pole position. And that is certainly something that might help Griffon as well, as Griffon are they're very, very close to Alpha Delta as well. Griffon on 313 points, Alpha Delta on 334. So could this be something that is essentially a launching pad for Griffon today?
Yeah, exactly. Frelick knows how to set the pole positions and he knows how to convert them into wins. And let's see if he can do it one last time in race one with Loic Mounier alongside in second place. So the two drivers on form at the minute there on the front row with Matthews Maika setting a statement as the FS2 champion ahead of Oliver Taras. Then we've Roshak with the second, Parallax Alpino in fifth, Tylene, Ivanov, Rualt, Quint, and Russo complete the top 10. So worries for the Netrex team who want to become the team's champions. They have their cars 12th and 13th, but of course just ahead of them it is Mirko Lucchini in 11th. Robin Mulling has team Rookie Monsters 14th ahead of Jason Muscat in 15th. So HGP, their slim chances of finishing third in the team's championship, they're looking very worrying at the moment. Menno Klont 16th, James Knox ahead of Matthews Gozowski, Jordan Weeks, and then there's Frank Hamming in 20th. So you'd think he'd be on a bit of a buzz at the minute after some brilliant driving in the United States, but it's 20th place for him as of right now in our qualifying grid. And then Craig Patterson, the only VMS unedits qualified, he's 21st. Scott Flack, Massimiliano Raboli, Daniel Scott, Usama Kanani, so he's stepped up for Luke Mitchell on late notice. He's managed to qualify 25th there. Philip Koenig, Owen Phil Hausvik, Niels Astinius, and then at the back of the grid we have Christoph Pisa-Kolan. So just the one driver absent today, but I have to say I'm most impressed by a lot of that driving, Lorenzo, as we head into our warm-up session.
That has been some fairly impressive driving from people on the grid that, to be fair, I didn't fully expect them to step up the way they did. Mateusz Schmeichel, I am very, very aware of what he can do, as I have followed FS2 this season the most of any series, but to see him step up in such a manner in FS2 in the last round does just truly prove that he just has that mentality that's required for succeeding, and I'm very excited to see what he does next year.
Yeah, and I've been rightfully directed by Alex Lahou towards the split times, because the top 20 drivers are all within 7/10 of one another, so that is remarkable to have that exceptional performance out of so many drivers, especially the stakes. A lot of teams are still in they still have something to play for, and certainly the drivers' championship, I know Quint has it won for sure, but yeah, there's certainly a solid contingent of drivers, let's say, from Mounier himself. He's probably got 12th place eyed up, and he could possibly challenge Menno Klont for 11th. Yeah, Patrick Roshak and Oliver Taras will be eager to see how they get on as well. So yeah, lots of places still to be won and lost. We're on board now with Omari Watson driving the number 5 for Netrex. It's been a grueling campaign for both the Netrex drivers, because they've been in attendance for every single round. Not once have they been missing. So when you look at the championship table on GPVWC.com, their rows are very thin, whereas you've got MS Performance. A lot of drivers have stepped up to the plate for them. HGP, plenty of drivers have also participated, and so on and so forth. With Kings Racing, they've got an absolutely massive contingent of drivers all season long, for example. But it's mainly the consistent teams this season. Alpha Delta just had 5 drivers at all all throughout the season, and so on and so forth. Rookie Monsters, of course, they've just had 4. So yeah, it really is one of those seasons where some teams need to keep swapping to find the right combo and overcome certain challenges with people being able to turn up as required, or if they have to be absent, of course. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, Netrex, they've been united all year long, going all the way back to March and the Australian Grand Prix. So they'll really want to get the final second win that they need to become champions, Lorenzo.
They do, and they might just have the consistency to take it because, as you said, Omari and Harry have been together since the Australian Grand Prix, but almost Multiforce with Mike Quint and Manu Clant have almost been together for all of the rounds. Multiforce only 3 drivers this season, Netrex only 2, but all of the drivers that they've had have attended every single race session. So that consistency in turning up has just been crucial in those 2 teams separating themselves from the rest of the grid. And well, tonight we will see which one is truly the best this year.
Yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, we can start to see the drivers that have attended all 16 rounds, of course. We will hope they'll be ready to go for round 2 as well, no matter what happens. But yeah, look at Daniel Scott. He's really held the Team Rookie Monsters team. He's been really impressive just to keep going and going, no matter what is thrown at him. So yeah, well done to Daniel for his perfect attendance so far this season, down in 47th in the championship with 3 points. He'd love just to back up his 14th. That was his best result in Singapore. If you can get one last hurrah, that'll be amazing. And then, as we say, Amari Watson and Harry Smith have been here through thick and thin. Lucas Tylene, his only lemon was Belgium race 2. He didn't decide to take part in that, but otherwise he's been here the whole way through. And Eoin Hauswick's had a streak ever since he was picked up by 100 to 1. He's been here ever since, so brilliant for him. And of course, Mirko Lucchini, he only missed 2 weekends towards the start of the season, and otherwise he's been here all the way through. So I really do appreciate that. And of course, Menno Clant, you can never go too long without mentioning him. He just had to miss the Austrian round because he went to the real life Grand Prix in the summer. He's been here pretty much the entire season, as often is the case, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit of time for reflection, but with one last race to go, one last sprint and feature coming up, of course, it is certainly the chance for these drivers just to get themselves dialed in one last time. They may have habits they like to follow, or they might be thinking, all right, it's a fresh start for me, I have nothing to lose, I may as well try something different and go for it. As you can see, Craig Patterson has set the best time so far in this warm-up with HGP. I think they're eager to go. They love the actual race conditions here, Lorenzo, with Hamming in particular. He doesn't often qualify towards the top as much as you'd expect him to, but when he gets set up for the races, then he is super, super quick.
That is true, but Mike, there is a chance that he has outdone himself, I guess you could say, today, as he is all the way down in 20th, and the question remains, will that be something that will make a problem for him in catching Victor Ivanov in the Drivers' Championship, as Victor Ivanov has qualified quite a lot higher than Frank Hamming, so he has quite a bit of a harder job than he would wish for ahead of himself. Although, yes. Does AGP... Well, I would assume so, that AGP's aim is to get P3 in the Constructor standings, and if Frank Hamming takes Victor Ivanov in the Drivers' Championship, that's a bit of a bonus, I guess you could say.
Yes, without a doubt. So yeah, HGP, their probably best advice is just to ignore the points tallies. It may just spoil the concentration a little bit, because they'll be playing the calculators in their heads, whereas they just let the race happen in front of them, do what they're best at, see what opportunities may arise that could actually end up benefiting them a bit more. Certainly, if I was in their situation, that would be the mindset I'd need, just to put in my best performance, not worrying about Victor Ivanov or MS Performance, seeing how you get on, and if it's mathematically sealed against HGP, and then yeah, fair enough, just take it on the chin and have fun at the end of the second race and see how you get on. But yeah, it's certainly a case where if things fall their way, they'll have a fabulous opportunity to peak at the end of the season when it matters most. If it happens, it happens. Of course, the fact that they got the victory in race 2 in both the United States and Canada, that's no mean feat. So whatever happens, it really should be a memorable campaign for HGP. Hopefully they'll be back raring to go in the next 2025 season.
That is right, as today is the deadline day, actually, for currently signed up teams and newly signed up teams to sign up for any of the series within GPVWC, barring Academy, of course. So it does remain to be seen which teams from FS1 will be moving up, which ones will be moving down. Will any of them be giving up on GPVWC completely? Which teams will we be seeing at this track next year in FS1? Which ones we won't in FS1?
Yeah, of course. The calendar, that's something to look forward to on GPVWC Day, when the new tracks are announced. So you'd imagine there are a few staples that we'll be, likely to keep. They very rarely get changed whatsoever. So I'd imagine Britain and Italy, they're likely to stay. Brazil, very popular as a finale, likely to stay. But yeah, the Chinese event was returned after a couple of years away, and
Melbourne as well, no?
Melbourne, yeah, that's usually quite popular as an opener, of course, so that usually stays. But yeah, Baku, to reflect real life, that got moved from spring into autumn. And Germany, I think I missed that round, so I don't remember too much about it. But yeah, certainly the options to go to Hockenheim or the Nürburgring, that could be one to watch as well if they want to switch tracks again in 2025. That would be possible. But yeah, Imola, Canada, they're pretty good back to back. But yeah, Japan, of course, moved around as well. So I'd imagine the calendar will be roughly the same, but yeah, there may be a few wild cards. I know, I think it was probably 2 years ago or so, there was a great bid to get the Indian Grand Prix back on the calendar. It was a very popular option as a potential new venue, but it may not have lasted beyond that one experiment. You'd have to look it up to be sure. But yeah, we'll see what kind of tracks people want to see come in and potentially get their spotlight in 2025.
I am curious to see whether they will experiment a bit, I guess you could say, with the Academy calendar this year, since Academy this year did have a couple of tracks that other series didn't, which was interesting to see. For example, Academy had Autodrome Most in Czechia, Istanbul Park, Kyalami, Road America, all very interesting circuits. Bugatti circuit, the short layout of Le Mans, also a track that Academy Series raced at this year. Mexico City last week as well. So that is very interesting to see. I am curious to see whether they'll be adding any new ones, whether they'll stick to the staples, experiment less with new tracks, experiment more.
Yeah, that's it. It's all up in the air at the minute. But yeah, the speculation's always good fun if you can actually predict something and it turns out to be 100% true. So Patrick Roszak practicing his launches and trying to make sure he has a full understanding of how the car behaves when he jams the throttle down, to make sure he doesn't have any unwanted surprises on Halloween night. So yeah, it is exciting to see what could come up as the final preparations before race 1 begins. The final race 1 formation lap of the campaign. We'll have the rundown, of course, once again for our qualifying grid. And I imagine any penalties. I don't believe there are any, but if I'm wrong, I'll certainly double check it. And yeah, it is a case of, yeah, it is a chance for some drivers really to give it a go. I know we've discussed Micah. To get his name in lights ahead of 2025, that'll be superb. Yeah, the championship or the team, that's the one that will grab the headlines. It is Netrex 577 points, Multiforce GP 573. So it could come down to head-to-heads really if two drivers score well against one. That could counteract that approach, or else it could be the case where they may need the fastest lap. It could be so close they may need to gamble with the fastest lap bonus point just to pull it out of the hat. It could be that close. So we'll see now. 35 laps coming up for our feature race. The sun continues to shine here in Sao Paulo. Beautiful day around here. So 24 degrees track and ambient temperature. So the choice of tires should be pretty handy enough for the drivers outside the top 15. They should have a pretty reasonable selection of compounds, and they should be pretty predictable.
Yeah, well, we will see how the tires will handle after a certain amount of time, 35 laps of course. It is very interesting to see which drivers in this race, well, saying that as if it's already started and we sort of know how the field is panned out, but it will be interesting to see which drivers will gamble on overcuts, undercuts, potentially to try and gain more positions, more points for their teams, for themselves. It could be a determining factor in a way for championships, both constructors and drivers. For example, Frank Hamming maybe could gamble on an earlier pit stop. You never know, really.
Absolutely, yeah. Knowing the unique pit exit around Sao Paulo, that could be one to watch. You've got a long way to get back onto the track after turn 3. So yeah, let's hurry along with our formation up on our grid. Is Freilich on pole from Munier, Micah P3, Taras in 4th, Roshak, Tylene, Ivanov and Ruwald in the top 8. So Ivanov and Ruwald will be working hard just to make sure HGP can't leapfrog them. Mike Quint, the highest of the drivers in contention for the team championship, in 9th. We've got Russo and Lucchini inseparable in the championship and inseparable on the grid, 10th and 11th. Harry Smith and Mary Watson, they've got work to do, 12th and 13th. Robin Mulling has been the leader of Team Rookie Monsters all season long. He's got 14th. Jason Muscat in the points for 15th for HGP. Menno Klont, work for him as well, 16th. James Knox ahead of Matthews Gazowski, Jordan Weeks, and there's Frank Hamming completing our top 20. Craig Pattison, 21st, ahead of Scott Flack, Massimiliano Roboli, and Usama Kanani, 23rd and 24th. So Lunark and Kings, no love lost there. They'll be eager to compete. Philip Koenig is ahead of Owen Philhausvik. Niels Ostinius, 27th, ahead of Christoph Pisakolan. So yeah, there is one driver not in the position he qualified. It's Daniel Scott. He's down at the back. So it must be him who has a penalty. So I am incorrect there. But hopefully Daniel Scott can work his way up the grid and support his teammate Robin Mulling.
We will see today, as we see all the drivers in the back coming up to line up. Will we see any surprises here at the start? Any big crashes, any jumps, any dive bombs?
That is a question that is always a worry, of course. Let's see what can develop. Yeah, the Senna S, very dangerous if you get it wrong, and we're away. Oh, it's a terrible start. Like a bad launch for... Oh, it is complete anarchy. Oh, Lorenzo, you've called it. There's an absolute... Oh, destruction Lord. Derby. Have probably 13 cars involved. Wheels and wings flying around the place and engines blown.
Oh, that's Frank Hamming.
It's Hamming out of contention here. He's lost certainly the bodywork at the front, maybe the back as well. This is horrendous. But yeah, we don't even know what's happening up the front. It's just complete and utter confusion.
As well.
Yeah, Ivanov in trouble. So Freilich, no worries for him, but it was a terrible start at the front there. let's see now. It's Micah and Rorschach together on the podium. Taras 4th and Quint ascends to 5th. So Netrex have lost Harry Smith down the back there. So Watson in big trouble all by himself. And Menno Clont has risen to 10th. So it is a huge swing in favour of Multiforce.
That is a massive, massive bump up for Multiforce, but I'm curious to see what happened there at the start. Did someone stall? What happened there? Because currently we have 4 cars out of the race: Riboli, Russo, Knox, and Flack, but potentially we'll see more cars DNF after that. But currently we see Szymon Frelik pulling away from Mateusz Schmeichel and Patrick Rorschach, Oliver Taras in 4th, Mike Quint in 5th, Lucchini, Guzowski, Meunier, Merling and Clont filling up the top 10, and we see the replay now to see what happened here at the start.
Yeah, so like Meunier was second on the grid and he just missed perhaps the launch, so just as the angle, it's looking on the right side of the grid where the odd numbered qualifiers are set, so you can just see the rear right tire. So Meunier doesn't get away well, Taras kind of reacts, and then just complete and utter destruction there. So it's just taken so many cars out of realistic contention there. Hamming, he's lost his rear left tire, and the Kings Racing there also absolute heap. So we've so many cars in for repairs and potentially DNFs as well. So let's look at it on board from Rod's point of view. So yeah, you can see the tag, and that causes a real concertina effect. So yeah, that's so unfortunate that happened on our season finale feature race.
Yeah, and I think that's it as well for MS Performance, as seeing as Stefan Roth is now out of the race. I don't think they can catch either Netrex or Multiforce anymore.
No, that's game. They needed both cars to be first and second to stand a chance. They're on board with Federico Russo. You can see Meunier so slow, and then the Lucas Tylene has to try his best to avoid the calamity, but unfortunately there was no way he could. So that span him into oncoming vehicles as well. So that was the end of him. So heartbreaking for an entire segment of the grid getting taken into a vortex of carbon fiber there. So you can see Hammond got hit in the back and he'd nowhere else to go. So that's him done for this evening, and he'll hopefully be back for the sprint race. So yeah, so many replays to get through. We can't confirm the Parallax Alpino cars are still second and third behind Freilich. There we are, they're within a second of the leader. So DRS is now very much a factor. So most unusual to have so many replays, but well done to Remco for getting those ready to try and understand exactly what happened there. So back with the live pictures, Taras and Quint are also in the frame here. You can see them getting the slipstream off the Parallax Alpino guys. You can still see some debris left over from the chaos. And at the moment, yeah, it is Lucchini versus Meunier. So Meunier has fallen back to 7th place now. He was 8th, but he's trying his utmost to defend from Guzowski and even get past him. So yeah, that's really important. So Multiforce, as things stand, are cruising to the top of the team's championship with Amari Watson down in 18th, 75 seconds off the leader, and set to be lapped in just a moment, Lorenzo.
Yeah, that starting grid crash has wiped out how many drivers that is. Thielen, Ivanov, Pichikola, having that's at least 7 drivers taken out. Both MS's, well, not actually, but well, Roth is 2 laps down, Scott is 1 lap down, Harry Smith. Netrex, yeah, the Netrex of Harry Smith is already a lap down, Amari Watson very close to being lapped already. But one thing I would like to point out, I don't think that was like Meunier who was stalled on the grid. I think that was Massi. I think that was Massi Riboli who stalled. He was way back down the grid.
Down the back of the grid, yeah. He was qualified in the bottom 20. So, yeah, it's just confusion. There was clamours for a red flag. But unfortunately, we're not going to be heard. Unfortunately, it is a case of whatever happens here in GPVWC. And it has had a huge impact on our team's championship. Patrick Rorschach, he's lost position here to Taras. He wants it back. He'll go around at the Cita del Lago. All's fair there, given appropriate room and not being forced off the track. So it is P3 confirmed for Taras. He's made maybe in the counter attack here at Ferradura into Larangina. So yeah, Taras does actually hold on here. So yeah, he's made the pass 100% confirmed for the time being, but without DRS, Mike is too far ahead. So Taras will certainly be vulnerable to the counter attack. Mike Quint, all he really needs to do is just keep his car safe and sound in the top 5, and it will be a bounty from Multiple to give them the championship lead. They've been back and forth with MS Performance and Netrex all season long, but to peak now, that'll be an incredible turnaround to have Menno Klont 9th as well. It's just so remarkably fortunate for Multiforce to have so many points in the bag, and no hope for Mary Watson, nearly a lap down in 18th, and Harry Smith a lap down in 20th.
As we saw right there, like Meunier trying to line up a move on Lucchini, but he didn't just have enough power from the DRS there, although he might be able to line something up here. Meunier, Lucchini, who will go out in front. Meunier for now. Will Lucchini try? No, he won't try a switcheroo, as Dan Ricciardo was.
So yeah, so the timing tower has the change of position since the start. So yeah, it is totally wacky and all over the place, because Gazowski plus 10, Koenig plus 11, and Onkel Hausvik has totally benefited here. As you can see, in 13th, he's actually doubled his luck from 26th all the way up to 13th. That is just stunning. And 100 to 1 every time they get into the points. They relish each and every chance they get. Of course, they want to confirm their 14th in the championship VMS, so that it's on their own with Pattison, of course, in 12th place. This is so important for both these teams to get themselves many points they can, just to avoid finishing last in the championship. Yeah, as of right now, Quint has plus 11, Menno Klont plus 7, so that is a huge swing in our championship. And they could gain even more places.
And I think this race one will prove to be, well, sorry.
Yeah, take your time.
I thought I was gonna sneeze, and then I didn't end up sneezing. My apologies to everyone watching. But what I was gonna say is, could this race one prove to be the deciding factor already for the Constructors' Championship, with both of the Netrexes down in 18th and 20th, Mike Quint in 5th, Menno Klont in 9th. That is a massive gap already building. Well, not massive, but certainly something that only in one race and with plus 1 fastest lap point is something that Netrex are gonna have to work really hard to achieve in race 2. As I would like to point out as well, Szymon Ferlik and Mateusz Majka seem to have pulled away from the rest of the grid, and there's a little bit of a train now forming behind Oliver Taras. Not like a massive train where everyone is bunched up, but Oliver Taras keeping behind himself most of the grid, letting the two Polish drivers in first and second drive away in peace.
Yeah, so the top two have a bit of a buffer for themselves, but Oliver Taras is determined to make sure that doesn't last much longer. He is just in the, there's the interval now. You can see he's really cutting into that lead on this lap. We'll see a bit more information when they cross the Sector 2 line. Robin Mulling, 10th position at the moment here. He's kind of in a sandwich here with Jason Muscat in 11th, and in front of him Menno Klont, of course, in 9th. So if Robin wants to go for the attack, he'll have to make 100% sure he's safe to do it, because Menno, he's focused on trying to bring back the team's championship to Malta for the first time since 2011. So yeah, let's see what the Team Rookie Monster driver can do. You can just about see Taras gain 3/10 on Micah in Sector 2, and then across the line he's gained half a second overall. Roshak, a purple Sector 3, to really close the gap down as well, using all that DRS benefit. And so far Mulling is still stuck. He may try again in the second burst of DRS. Here comes He's opening up the rear wing now. Lorenzo, he's got the inside for Decido del Lago. Can he brake later? No, as a matter of fact. Menno holds it on the outside.
That was quite an, well, not really early braking, but he did seem a bit scared to try a move there, Robert Merling there, on Menno Klon. However, that has put him very, very much close, that little bit closer to Jason Muscat, that he would not want to be closer to Jason Muscat. And I feel like Robert Merling needs to make a move here as soon as possible if he wants to keep Jason Muscat behind himself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, his main job is perhaps just to win on strategy, because I've seen a few drivers dip in and out of the pits. The fact that there's so much open track available, it means that you can gamble on a pit strategy. I think here we go. Here's another chance for Mulling. He'll go on the inside at Senna S. He's got everything ahead. This time he's got to avoid locking up the brakes. Yeah, he's got the move done, but of course the next opportunity is coming. Menno will choose to get on the power right now and make sure he can use the rear wing effect as best he can. But yeah, there's a great pass, nice and calm there from Mulling, and he pulled it off superbly. So it's 9th place. Team Rookie Monsters looking very proud of themselves thus far. Of course, they got a podium with Robin earlier in the season in Belgium, as a matter of fact. So yeah, just more points, the merrier really for Team Rookie Monsters.
Yeah, that's right. And now that Robert Merling has overtaken Menno Klon, he does have Jason Muscat behind him. So Maltese driver chasing the Maltese car. Could we see a bit of maybe favoritism there taking some effect? Or will AGP make Muscat overtake Klon for their own benefit? I feel like as much as Jason Muscat would like to see the Maltese team, Multiforce GP, win again, I feel like he'll put his team in front of that. And I feel like he won't need to cut Menno any slack. I feel like as far as race 1 is going right now, Multiforce do have this, well, they have one hand on the trophy right now, basically.
Yeah, the reverse grid only benefits the drivers in the top 10 here in FS1, so already Multiforce stand to benefit from that. So they've already got more points potential in race 2 just by turning up, compared to Netrex, who are going to be stuck outside the top 15 anyway. And then if they secure these points, Menno and Mike can take it easy when it comes to battles. They don't have to do anything exceptionally risky. So if Munier, for example, if he catches up to Quint, he can probably go side by side and battle him just routinely. He doesn't have to block with supreme force. He can just do what he needs to do, and if he can fight back later, that's great. So here's a prime example of it. Side by side, don't make unnecessary contact. And there we go. Munier is ahead out of the Senna S, but Mike Quint, of course, has his right to fight back, and he will have DRS, unlike the Frenchman here, driving for Kings. So they go side by side again. And yes, in fairness to Loic, he's defended that one properly. And maybe Mike just needs to sit back and follow for the Sector 2. It is rather single file, unless you can really nail a pass into turn 10. That's perhaps the one exception, but for now, yeah, that was just what I was talking about, Lorenzo. Mike Quint, he could defend, but he didn't have to do anything unbelievably risky. So yeah, he had a thought about it there in turn 10, but he didn't have to do anything really compromising for himself. So he has his chance to fight back into the start-finish straight here, Lorenzo.
He will, just like Loic had his run-up on Mike right now with a lovely move. Loic also went he went defensively at the exact time that he needed to. However, will he go defensive now? No, he will not. He will try and defend from the outside from Mike. Will it work? It appears it will, but Mike will have the DRS again. Oh, but he's gone a bit slow there. Mirko Lucchini going a bit wide there, but however, he is now close to Mike Quint, and he will have DRS as well. However, and we see Yo is in sector 2. Hopefully that doesn't impede the race. However, like Munier keeps P5, and now Mike Quint might have to be looking for Mirko Lucchini. No, Mirko Lucchini seems to have pulled off a bit. So Mike Quint now chasing Loic Munier still.
You have a replay here of Lucas Tylene after qualifying so brilliantly. He's now rooted in 22nd place, and he's just
into the
gravity.
grandstands.
Oh no! Oh, that's horrific, to say the least. He's gone airborne into the grandstands. Yeah, that's horrible. So you can just check out the onboard perspective. So he's already gone a bit too fast. He's perhaps just lost a bit of focus there and ended up barreling into the grandstands and out of bounds.
GPVWC would like to say that no spectators were harmed in that crash.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So I'm afraid, yeah, that's another car out of contention. A big name gone. KKR, they have no representation left in the race now. James Knox was involved in the lap 1 destruction. So unfortunately for KKR, this puts them in a terrible position now. They're trying to fight off Parallax Volpino, and that could be game over already with the Canadian team in the ravishing red. They've got 2 drivers in the top 5, so that's probably game over for KKR. To be honest, Kings Racing, of course, they've a driver in 5th place, so that puts them in severe danger as well. Lunark have a driver on a podium, so KKR could fall from 7th all the way down to 10th. Now that would be absolutely despairing, to say the least.
That is definitely something that could happen, but I do find it unlikely as it stands before Brazil. KKR were on 250 points, Lunark all the way down on 210, so gaining 40 plus points in one race over a team, while possible, I don't think is unlikely, seeing as Oliver Taras is currently, well, I wouldn't say carrying Lunark, but Osama Kanani, he was brought in a bit late, so he's not doing as well as Lunark would maybe want him to, although P13 currently, although he still has to pit, he's currently pretty good for Lunark. Oliver Taras exit the pit lane now, Mateusz Schmeichel right in front of him, Mike Quint and Meadow Clod, so that multi-force double stack there. Robert Merling also pitted.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, Lorenzo, in fairness, you are right, but it is technically possible. It really could happen, but it would require a huge turnaround as well for Kings to have Massimiliano Raboli in the points, and Lunark, they need Kanani to pop up with some points too. So at the moment, Usama Kanani, he's the last minute substitute for Luke Mitchell. He's 13, so he's able to back up a little bit of the hard work done by Oliver Taras, who now finds himself behind Micah in 9th place. Freilich, race leader, responds to those early pitters. So yeah, we're just in that range really where the soft tire will begin to grain a bit. Roshak and Munier respond, so Mirko Lucchini carries on for another lap to take a temporary lead, and Jason Muscat into 2nd. So we'll watch this pit action now. Lorenzo watching to see this undercut play for Matthews Micah, hoping to pick up a victory in FS1 after becoming FS2 champion. Let's see, he's through Senna S now. Freilich probably just a bit behind at the minute, but he can get full throttle from here, so he should still be ahead. There you go.
Yeah, he's ahead by quite a margin there. Sorry to interrupt.
That's really good.
So the overcut seems to have worked very, very well for Szymon Freilich there with Mateusz Schmeichel. And that is, well, I wouldn't say surprising, but seeing as how long the pit lane at Interlagos is, that is, well, I don't know. Maybe Mateusz was held up in the pit lane. You don't know.
Yeah, I would have to perhaps compare lap times, just see what happened there. But at the moment, yeah, his advantage to Freilich. He's gotten out over second clear. Yeah, 1 minute 35.666 was Micah's outlap after pitting. Freilich we can compare in just a moment, see how he gets on across the line. Should be just in a moment now, as Lucchini and Muscat each pit, so they don't want to extend the stint much longer. And 135.6 as well for Freilich, so maybe identical times. Seems a bit unusual, but there you have it. It seems like, yeah, Freilich.
Maybe the difference was in the in-lap, however.
Yeah, the in-lap, perhaps, yeah. Now, another head-to-head battle here. Quint has his chance nearly to overtake Mounier. Alas, he can't do it right now, but no doubt about it, these two will remain lockstead in a big battle here with everything up in Multiforce's column at the minute. They're so close to a double haul of points that will get them first in the team championship. Here's a look at Jordan Weeks. It looks like his race 1 is finished, so he's gone into Laryngina way too fast. He missed his turn in, and unfortunately he's got a blow up in his engine. It's up in flames, so hopefully he is not too badly hurt by that. That looked like a hefty incident.
Yeah, well, he did go in too fast into the corner, but it did appear like he had a bit of an unstable moment there, overcorrected, and then just lost control over the bumps in the corner, and that's race over for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm afraid, yeah, once you lose the back end in that demanding sort of double apex corner, it can be impossible to rescue it. So looking backwards from Matthews Micah's view, he's trying to defend from Taras, and Taras briefly had to use the runoff, so maybe he just got his corner entry a bit wrong, and yeah, just unfortunate to see from the rear wing. Micah just followed the apex as normal. Maybe Taras was just trying to hold it on the outside, but it didn't pay off, so he has lost about half a second, but he's clawing it right back down now, and he'll try again very soon. Lorenzo for his shot at second place, and Lunark, they'll be grateful for any last podium success they can get after a lot of difficulties in 2024, as well as a few great moments as well. So yeah, they've been very consistent recently with Taras. He's got 3 top 5s in a row between races 1 and 2 in Singapore and the United States, and of course he got 5th place I think it was Baku as well. So a lot going on here now. He does have the position made there. So
it was a lovely overtake by Oliver Taras, and he's gone defensively immediately on Mateusz Micah. However, Mateusz does have DRS. He'll try and go on the outside, and he's going to make a stick. He's going to make a stick. Lovely move by Mateusz Micah there, and he could try to reel in Oliver Taras into his teammate Patrick Roszak now. I feel like that is the plan from Parallax right now, to reel in, to sandwich Oliver Taras basically between the two Parallax torpedoes, and for Mateusz to help Patrick get in front of Oliver, and then to run off into distance.
That's it, yes. This all helps out Freilich to secure another victory in 2024. Of course, with TOP, he was able to celebrate many victories as well, but wasn't able to quite win the championship battle with his teammate Jack Mayer last year. And he came back, got a full-time contract in the middle of the season with Griffon, and he's just been dazzling with all these victories and other podiums as well. So it is absolutely incredible to see. So yeah, if he can get Griffon secured in a high point in the championship, that would be amazing. So yeah, he's won 16 times overall in FS in 4 seasons. Of course, 2020 was a part-time gig before he went full-time in 2021, and then of course came back in 2023 to really get some incredible victories. Of course, in Brazil Race 1, he is the defending champion of it, so that was his shot trying to become the champion, but it didn't quite end up being that way, unfortunately. So if he can defend his win from 12 months ago. That'll be a big boost to him.
It will, and it will be a massive boost if he wins this race for Grifone as well, seeing as one of the Alpha Deltas is out this race. Only Mirko Lucchini is left in race 1, winning this race, and Philip Koenig in 15th as well. Brings the gap between Alpha Delta and Grifone to a very, very small amount in the Constructors Championship.
Yeah, it's almost nothing really. Turn that around on Alpha Delta immediately in race 1. It can barely be more than 1 or 2 points. And here comes Taras. It's a head-to-head battle here in the Teams Championship. Perhaps Lunark will end up losing it because they don't have their second driver in the top 10 like Taras is. So Kanani sitting pretty nicely in 14th after being called up the last minute. So that's not too shabby, but Alex Volpino look very, very healthy. This could be their best combo in quite some time. And of course, 3rd and 4th, they did that in Italy. So if they can do it with a 2nd and a 3rd, that would be even better. So watch out, of course. Look, Munier is coming with the bomb now. Munier set a very good first sector, and he was brilliant on the last lap at 1 minute 15.7, Lorenzo. So he's starting to peak now on these hard tires.
He is, and it looks like that could be, at the end of the race, a 5-way battle for P2, as Mateusz Marquez is forming a bit of a train behind him. Oliver Taras, his teammate as well, like Mooney and Mike Quint also arriving here, as we see someone else in the pit lane. I don't think that's anyone, unfortunately for them, important for the grand scheme of the race. As Oliver Taras, Mateusz Marquez goes defensively. Oliver Taras will try to go around the outside again. Very, very close between them. A bit of contact, but nothing major. Oliver Taras stays behind currently. But will he eye a move here? He's very, very close. I don't think he will. So Mateusz Marquez for now keeps P2. Although Oliver Taras very, very close. He has Patrick Rorschach behind him. Who has Loic Mounier behind him. Who has Mike Quinn behind him.
Yeah, my best guess was that was Amari Watson, who pitted on lap 1 for repairs, and he went 19 laps on a set of hard tires there, so he's able to go back on softs. Maybe his target would be fastest lap, just to make sure no one else can have that point. So we'll follow along and make sure that definitely was Amari, but he's all the way down to 17th, and he needs drop-offs in the top 15 to get Netrex something out of this race. But side by side into the Senna S comes Micah and Taras for another squabble, and got to make sure there's no rear end instability from either car there. Here we go with another shot of DRS, and pulling straight to the left hand side. Micah has pulled in for defense. Taras tries to do what it was done to him with the high line at Tecido del Lago, and it was unsuccessful for the Lunark driver. And Mounier is getting so close now, so this puts the heat on Rorschach, who's trying to defend Parallax Volpino's remarkable set of points at the moment. So yeah, it is a splendid battle for second place. Freilich is pulling further clear. He got another 3/10 out of Micah that last lap, so it is in Freilich's command at the moment, and second place all on the line here between another 5 drivers, so maybe Mike Quint could get in the mix as well.
I feel like he already is in the mix as well, but the way it could be, the way it is going right now, I feel like Mateusz Marquez will just hold up the people behind him as even more. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Merling and Mirko Lucchini get into the battle as well. But I don't feel like that.
Taras is through. Taras is
through.
Yes. So his preference is the Senna S to make these overtakes, and it looks like he has the breadth of room he needs now to defend. So now it should be a case with minding Rorschach's race now to make sure Micah doesn't spook his teammate and cause them grief. So we'll check out the replay and verify that pass. So here we go. That was a long way back. It didn't look to be on. but he just may have just got a mistake. Yeah, so a mistake from Micah has cost him his second place. So yeah, he was psyched out of it, and Taras takes full benefit of that. So well done, Oliver. The Englishman is thriving at the minute.
That was a very weird mistake by Mateusz Micah. I don't think I've seen many of those by him, although that came at the perfect moment for Oliver Taras. He's now got quite a nice gap behind, with Mateusz Micah behind him, although Mateusz Micah seems to have closed it down, not quite to attack yet, but he could be in striking distance within a lap, maybe two, if he continues at the pace he currently is. Oliver Taras still not safe, although nobody in that train is currently safe. Mateusz Micah does have his teammate behind him, remember. Patrick Koschak will Parallax Torpedo try and help their longer serving driver ahead of Mateusz, or do they just aim to have both drivers finish high regardless of which position to close the gap in the constructors? I feel like Loic Media and Mike Quint also have a say in that. They're very, very close. Loic Media has been attacking Patrick Koschak for quite a while now, 4 or 5 laps maybe. I feel like a move by Loic Media is inevitable at this point, although we just need to see where he'll grab the chance to make one, to try one, Owen.
Very much, Lorenzo, but now here's a dilemma for the champion of 2024, because Amari Watson, with fresher tyres and being lapped, he has perhaps nothing to lose at this point. He can just try and distract Mike Quint here and cause him to not be able to put in a pass on Munier. So if Amari Watson on his fresher tyres is genuinely quicker, he has the right to unlap himself. So this could be quite a spectacle, as Netrex, their heartbreak, I'm sure, is just absolutely telling. They're not willing to give up on this race. They've got Harry Smith in 19th as well, but this is perhaps one last piece of resistance that Amari can put in, all within the rules. He can just race behind the drivers compete for a podium and hope that their hard tyres fade away a little bit, whereas he'll have superior traction on the softs, and he can just try and follow Mike Quint turn for turn and see what he can do. But it is a very unusual situation, and Koenig versus Astenius, I think, is for the points. They're Kanani and Koenig, I think, sorry, I didn't know it is Koenig and Astenius. They're trying to compete for the remaining points, so that could be one to watch as well. 100 to 1 to get a double points finish. Now that would be quite something.
It would be quite something. I don't remember the last time 100 to 1 did get a double points finish.
I don't think it's happened.
Has he? Has it not?
Real Hauswick. He's been getting all the points.
That's, well, I can't say surprising, but at the same time it is, because I did feel like 100 to 1 did get a double points finish early in the season. However, I will say I haven't been here for the entirety of the season. I have joined midway through.
Their problem was their cars always retired. Moash and Sandra Van Zandt at the beginning of the year just kept retiring, so that was a big problem for them. In fairness, I suppose Kvillhauser got 11th places twice in a row. That was Germany, so I suppose that can be considered a double points finish between two races, but with the two cars scoring points. Now it's all been Kvillhauser. He scored every single point for 100 to 1. But if Niels can give 100 to 1 their crowning moment to pretty much guarantee Craig Patterson's hard work is completely redundant. As actually matter of fact, Patterson's in the pits, so Usama Kanani has climbed position. So Patterson may be tempted just to give it a go and push for fastest lap or something like that, as Koenig, as a matter of fact, to set fastest lap in his battle with Astenius. So here's Patterson. He can get 100 to, or VMS Sunnet, it's their first points in a very long time. That dates all the way back to the second round all the way in Saudi. It's the last time they got any points at all. This is huge for VMS Sunnet, and then Justin Van Smithson scoring some points all the way back in Saudi.
And we did see Amari Watson stay behind the pack that's battling for P2, and you did say that Omari's plan is potentially to spook Mike Quint a bit, force him into a mistake, maybe to wear his tires. My question is, will Netrex try and get one of their drivers within the last 5 laps to pit for new softs? Because Omar is currently on softs, as we can see. Harry Smith, I think, is on hards. I feel like there is a chance that they pit Harry Smith on softs, to try and get that 1 point from the fastest lap, and just not have the loss of points in race 1 be as painful as it could have been. Have that 1 point less to catch up to Multiforce in race 2. I feel like that is something that logically Netrex should be trying to do, get that fastest lap point on.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Lorenzo. I would totally agree with that. Watson, in the place he is right now, to be honest, he should just probably stick it out. He's got the soft tires, he can go to the end. He doesn't want to fall behind Daniel Scott, for example. He's 18th, about 12 seconds back. So Watson should hold station, whereas Harry Smith, he won't lose position to Rualt if he pits. So yeah, Harry Smith should get, in our opinion, as a pairing here, Lorenzo and I agree that Harry Smith should consider getting a pit stop done for the end of the race to try and set a fastest lap, just to make sure no one else can have that point in the top 15. But yeah, Watson, if something were to happen in front of Watson, you want him to be on call to pick up the potential point, or however many positions are left vacated, for example. So Patterson does set the fastest lap, so Netrex need that data, and they need it urgently, of course, if they're going to do anything. So yeah, Watson should stick it out, do what he can from 17th, and then Harry Smith give it one last throw of the dice to see what happens.
I feel like what Omar is hoping on as well is that the pack battling for P2 will catch up to Nils Astenius and Philip Koenig, and that he could potentially, while they're being lapped, battle them for P15. Although I feel like on lap 30 out of 35, that is quite unlikely currently, as we see Harry Smith is battling Daniel Scott. Oh, bit of contact there. They're both still on track, and Harry Smith currently 18th. They're banging tires. I don't think Daniel Scott was very, very pleased with how Harry Smith got past him there. He's shown his frustration there, his displeasement. Although I feel like you should show it off track, not on track. Mm-hmm. Not very professional of Daniel Scott, although Harry Smith currently 18th. Daniel Scott does have the chance, still 5 laps to go, to re-overtaking for P18. So just keep your head down, keep your cool, and you could get him back.
So now Harry Smith is behind the Guzovsky versus Muscat battle. We had a brief glimpse at it, but now check out the replay. So there you can see Harry Smith.
Went to turn in too early, and then didn't leave much space to Daniel there, to be fair, trying to rejoin. And then Daniel just is not very happy, but that's just unnecessary.
Yes, yeah, I suppose Smith wanted to try and peak with a switch around and get the inside line, maybe just a little bit too early with his timing. But yeah, I'm sure Daniel will have his ability to protest that and say, look, that wasn't a fair overtake, it wasn't clean or anything like that. But I suppose Robin Mulling in 7th place, that is outstanding for Team Rookie Monsters. They're in contention for the reverse grid pole. We head to our final 5 laps of the race. Loic Mounier versus Mike Quint remains unresolved, with Amari Watson watching and waiting to see what happens. So now Amari's 16th because Niels Astenius has dropped further behind. So now Amari Watson could potentially catch Usama Kanani for the point after all. So yeah, there is a route back to the points for Amari Watson. You can see the distance there. There's the Lunark there of Taras, or would it be Taras? No, yeah, it should be Taras, but yeah, definitely the other Lunark should be appearing somewhere very soon, so we'll hopefully get a wide shot coming up. So yeah, that would definitely be Taras in 2nd, but the other Lunark of Kanani should be coming up somewhere. There he is, as a matter of fact. So yeah, Kanani will have to get the heave-ho to try and push as hard as he can and keep up with the likes of Koenig, but watch out for his teammate. The minute Oliver Tarras appears, he's got to let him by. But of course, that means Amari Watson would profit as well, because he can just hide in behind Mounier. And now he's ahead of Mike Quint. And this is quite extraordinary, as Mounier tactically lets the lapped car by, so he's feeling like, I don't need this in my life, I just need to deal with Mike Quint. So he lets the Netrex car by. So this is real pressure now. Lunark need to find a way to defend their points with Manny in 15.
Yeah, this brings up a lot of questions. Did Omari pass Mike, or did Mike let him through? We did see Loic let Omari through, but I am curious as to how Omari got past Mike, and this is what I was talking about, Owen. Omari was hoping that the pack for P2 would catch up to the last points position, and it did, and he's bouncing on it right now. Nils Astenius got lapped and he overtook him, and now Sam McNarty got lapped as well, and he's bounced on that as well, and he's gotten that P15 and that last point in race 1. And now as well, speaking of the pack for P2, Patrick Rochak has pulled away from Loic Mounier, and now Loic Mounier's only trouble is Mike Quint.
Yeah, so 15 points are set to be won by Multiforce compared to 1 for Netrex, so that swings it. It would be
12 points?
10. Plus 10, I think.
10?
Yeah, so 5-7-8 for Netrex, and it would be 5-8-4, so yeah, probably 13. My maths are so bad. Unfortunately, yeah, it's probably a swing of probably 11 points, 11, 12 points.
Yeah, I think it should be 12 points, as Netrex are on 5-7-7 and Multiforce are on 5-7-3, so that's 5-7-8 and 5-8-8. Yeah, that's 10 points actually as well. You were right.
Okay.
I apologise.
It is catchable, of course, but yeah, it is the fact the reverse grid really favours Multiforce at the minute. They have Quint in position to potentially get the pole, and that could seal the deal for Multiforce potentially. If he just finishes on the podium, it could be impossible for Netrex to went about that. So here's a replay of what happened to Nils Astenius. So he was battling. Oh, there's contact. Oh no, so that's what I was thinking. The fact that Amari Watson couldn't give up, so Nils Astenius, no fault was on. He made contact with Kanani, who was spinning. So yeah, there was nowhere else for him to go, of course. So Niels, he sees the spinning Lunark just rapidly appear in front of him. So that's how Amari Watson got into the points after all. It was just an unfortunate error from Kanani, and Nils Astenius ended up having a hit with the barrier. So the Tunisian driver could keep going. And I think he's got too much damage now. He needs to probably pit it. There's just no way to get that car safely around the track anymore, so maybe just get a new set of tyres and just limp. As we are on our final lap here, Lorenzo, Shimon Frelich is on course for a comprehensive victory to go back-to-back here in race 1 events around Sao Paulo. So heartbreaking end for Kanani, and that actually was the moment Amari Watson needed. So he's 15th, and Harry hasn't taken the opportunity to pit for fastest lap, so I think he just wants to keep going and maybe have one last shock. Then he would be in 15th, and there would be 2 points for Netrex in the end. So now witnessing the battle for 7th, and now this is it, the final chance. If Quint can get past Mounier, that'll be another bonus for Multiforce. He's going to give it everything he's got, Lorenzo, but of course race leader should be coming to the line about now, so we've got to keep our attention split. Here we go, Frelich, he can celebrate with his teammate Philip Koenig, who is 14th, a lap down. There we go, Frelich has done it again, another superb victory, but across the back straight. Here we go, Quint side by side with Mounier. This could be so important come the end of the term, and it's a photo finish, Lorenzo, but I think Loic held on.
Yeah, Loic held on by I think just about a 10th of a second there, and that was a very, very good drag race between Loic Mounier and Mike Quint for P5, and in the end Loic Mounier came out on top, as we see Jason Muscat here beating Jason Muscat not beating Guzowski for P9. Mano Klont coming in P11. Owen Harmsvik will now cross the line in P12. And then we wait for...
Oh, bit of afters after the checkered flag. Harry Smith, who was involved in the lap 1 incident, he's now got a repair bill, of course, for race 2. So hopefully it was a celebration, but I've been wrong about it. Oh, it was a bit of contact, I think, with the Hyperion or something. I just saw it on my YouTube stream that having a picture just to be able to look at previous footage. So yeah, just a bit unfortunate there to have a car spinning into the wall, but hopefully of course at Singapore I thought it was playful, but it may not have been with the even off and Quins. But yeah, maybe another case of frustration. There's so much work has been gone into the season for every single team and every single driver, and unfortunately, yeah, the even before turn 1, it all happened on the grid spaces really before the drivers could complete turn 1. So that was where it all unraveled with the chaos. So as the drivers get themselves through their reconnaissance lap and into the pit garages, we can now discuss how race 1 fared with our tally on the classification table. So Szymon Frelick, he got the job done nice and handily. He knew Parallax Alpino had work to do, and they ended up battling with Oliver Taras, who finished second. So 3rd and 4th is the outcome for Parallax Alpino, with Micah on the podium and Roszak falling in behind. So that distraction was a huge benefit to Frelick, and he took full advantage of it. Loic Mounier defeats Mike Quint in a drag race to the line. So maybe King's Racing has done a little favour to Netrex, but we don't know for sure. It seems unlikely at this stage, but we'll have to wait and see. Robin Mulling 7th, Mirko Lucchini 8th, Mateusz Gozowski 9th, and Jason Muscat complete the top 10. Menno Klont backs up his teammate with an 11th place. Valuable points there for Malta Force, to say the least. Owen Phil Hausvik is 12th, so another brilliant drive for him. And Craig Patterson gets VMS Sun, and it's back in the top 15. So a feel-good story there. They've been waiting so long to get any more points, and they get 13th in race 1. Philip Koenig, right behind his teammate a lap down, is 14th. And then Amari Watson, he got a little bit of a breakthrough there with Kanani and Astenius having a collision. So he gets a point in the end. Harry Smith, 16th. Daniel Scott, I'm sure he'll have something to say with Smith in his battle. He's 17th with Kanani. He just about made it across the line. Of course, he had the spins again, so he's 18th. Stefan Ruel, 2 laps down in 19th. And here, Lorenzo, just so many cars not able to be classified, starting with Niels Astenius there. He was unfortunately taken into the wall. Nothing he could do to avoid Kanani. Then the other drivers who did not make it to the line, we've Pixelates, Jordan Weeks, Lucas Tylene, Victor Ivanov, Christoph Pichikolan, Frank Hamming, Massimiliano Raboli, Federico Russo, James Knox, and Scott Flack, all DNF'd. So, yeah, it's going to be a big talking point. Break down that crash, Lorenzo. Yeah, it was certainly an unusual race, to say the very least.
Yeah, it was a very interesting start to the race. I can see in the server already plenty of drivers very unhappy with how the start of the race panned out. Victor Ivanov, for example, seems particularly unimpressed with Lucas Tylin. So I feel like, hopefully not, but I feel like there will be some hard feelings in race 2, unfortunately, because of that crash. And because of some more crashes as we've seen in this race, for example, between Osama Kanani and Nils Astenius, between Daniel Scott and Harry Smith as well. Although I will say it was a very, very good race, and Szymon Frelick very dominant today. We had a very interesting battle for P2 as well. Interesting battles all across the grid, and there's still some undecided positions in both the drivers and the constructors.
Exactly, but yeah, we've got to step away for a few minutes to have a break after all that. And I'm sure with one last sprint race to go. You will be ready to join us again after our break. So stay tuned and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to FS1. We are currently preparing for race 2 at Brazil after very entertaining, to say the least, race 1, where we had, as Remco put it kindly to me, the Academy Series misfortune at the start of the race, and Shimon Frelling very dominantly winning race 1. We also had a photo finish, in a way, between Loic Meunier and Mike Quint for P5, where Loic Meunier finished ahead by 16 hundredths. And speaking of Mike Quint, he is on pole position for race 2 with the reverse grid, Eoin. So the system really lining up Multiforce fairly well for the championship.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Lorenzo. Thanks for taking the intro there. So the photo finish was crucial in the end, as Mike Quint, beg your pardon. By finishing sixth, he didn't quite pull it off, but by getting sixth place, he was pulled out with a hat for reverse grid pole. So basically, if Mike Quint wins this sprint race to 24 laps in all, Netrex would have to finish second and third just to stand any chance of getting the necessary points. But 32 points will be on offer if they finish second and third. So that would just about rescue it, I think, by, well, maybe not even by head to head, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think the most obvious permutation is that if Mike Quint converts the pole position, then Multiforce GP will be our team's champions for 2024.
That is correct. And before we do start the formation lap, although I don't think we know how much time, I would like to ask you, Eoin, you have been following FS1 more closely and for longer than I have. I would just like to ask you before race 2 starts, your personal favorite moment of the season, race, result, can be anything, to be fair.
I'm glad you asked. I was thinking of a few moments, but certainly the moment of the year in terms of a spectacle was Menno Clant winning San Marino race 2 with Mike ably backing him up in defence. It was just a wonderful moment, and the chat had absolutely exploded in happiness for Menno, knowing he's been trying many years just to experience what it's like to win a race again. And it was absolutely amazing. But I suppose in terms of a personal favourite, I would go for Tylene, who got the win on the last corner of the last lap at China race 2. Unfortunately, Isaac Clark, we haven't seen him in many months, unfortunately. But yeah, he got second place in the end. Pixelate were so close to a win, but it was taken away from them in a stunning end. But of course, we look back at some thrillers. Certainly Canada was an exciting race with Harmon getting the job done against Ivanov, and certainly Singapore, if Quint's pass was valid in the minds of the stewards, that would have been a heck of a way to win the title, but alas, it wasn't to be. It was still an amazing moment, and I've certainly been honoured to cover the series this season, and it's really lived up to all the hype.
And it was a pleasure to have you commentating this season, and hopefully we do see you and Ed back next year as well. Maybe I do hop in as well, as we see the grid for race 2 now. Mike Quint on pole for race 2, as we've said. Loic Meunier in second, the two parallax Alpinas of Patrick Roszak and Mateusz Majka, P3 and P4. Oliver Taras and Shimon Frelling, 5th and 6th. Robert Merling of Team Ricky Moses in 7th, and Mirko Lucchini of Alpha Delta in 8th. Mateusz Guzowski of Hyperion in 9th, with Jason Muscat of AGP right behind him. Manu Klont of Multiforce in 11th, and Eoin Haugsvik of 100 to 1 12th. Craig Patterson right behind him for VMS, and Philip Koenig, the other Griffon, in 14th. The two Netrexes of Omari Watson and Harry Smith, 15th and 16th respectively, hell of a lot of a job to do for them. Daniel Scott, 17th, Osama Kanani, 18th, Stefan Ruor, 19th, and Nusa Stenius, 20th. Lucas Taylin, 21st, and Victor Ivanov, 22nd, the two MS Performance cars, very, very low. Krzysztof Piecikolan, 23rd, and Frank Hamming, 24th. Massimiliano Riboli in 25th, Federico Russo, 26th, 25th and 26th, both Italians. James Knox in 27th. Scott Flack in 28th for Pixelate, and then in 29th would be Or do we not have 29 drivers?
Yeah, I think we're just missing
yeah,
the other
someone has
pit
pulled
lane.
out.
Yeah.
The other pit lane has pulled out of... who would it be?
The other pick was Jordan Weeks.
Oh yeah, John Weeks. And there is an empty grid slot right behind Mike Wendt of Mateusz Schmeichel. Mateusz Schmeichel is not on the grid.
Oh, it's Rorschach. Rorschach's not there.
Rorschach is not there, but it's too late now as the race starts, and Mike Wendt pulls off into the lead quite easily as Oliver Tarras and Mateusz Schmeichel valley for P2 into the Celestes. Mateusz Schmeichel comes out on top. We see yellows in sector 1, something has happened and someone's gone wide there.
Off there.
And it seems clean for the most part. Mike Wendt pulls off into the lead. Mateusz Schmeichel and Oliver Tarras right behind him. Szymon Frelick down in 4th. Robin Merling and Mikko Lucchini, like Meunier, Menno Klont, Jason Muscat and Kool Huiswijk round up the top 10 over.
Yeah, this is superb for Kool Huiswijk to gain even more positions off the line. Relieved to say the least that Guzovsky, when he got a tag from Muscat, the pole in the Hyperion, was able to rescue it on the runoff after Curva del Sol and carry on. So now, with the bit between their teeth, Harry Smith 14th, Amari Watson 15th, they've got an enormous job to do. They're going to have to work together to carve the field apart and stand any chance of winning the team's championship. They need Menno Klont out of the points entirely. They need to finish second and third just to make it a contest, as Usama Kanani is defending with everything he's got against Federico Russo. So Russo among the names who did not get a fair shake in race 1 after the pile-up just after the start, so didn't even get to turn 1, and a lot of drivers were unable to really carry on. So Kanani, who's working as a late minute substitute this evening for Lunark, he's now got a shot at slipstreaming Frank Hamming there, so Hamming will get one last cameo as well. He'll hope for some points to wrap up a great season, but alas, he won't be able to be even off in the championship as things are currently stacked against him.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him. If Frank Hamming has a very, very good race, he could overtake Victor Ivanov, as we do see him pitting currently. He did enter the pit on the end of the first lap, so Victor Ivanov, things are stacked up against him, and MS Performance as well. We see him exiting the pit lane right now. We are not quite sure what happened to him, but we did see yellow flags at the start of the race, so maybe that could be connected to it.
Maybe something go wrong at the back of the grid, of course. He wouldn't have been able to repeat his show from qualifying, getting them into the top 10 or thereabouts. So Lucchini, he's having a go at Robin Mulling, who's also eager to keep up with Frelick and get a shot at DRS to give Team Rookie Monster a nice send-off for the rookie campaign for that particular team. Promoted, I think, from FS2. A brand new team, beg your pardon. They're returning team. So yeah, they were established a few years ago, but now they're back, and this is their return to the calendar. And Craig Patterson here for VMS, so now that's on his own for that team, but he got them their precious points in the last race, of course, and now he wants to fight the Netrex guys and just make sure he can get more pleasant more pleasant notes, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, Craig Patterson looking to end the season on a high, especially for VMS, not only for himself. Unfortunately, Krzysztof Piechikola can't say the same. Unfortunately, the first DNF of the race, we did see yellow flags in Sector 3 earlier. First DNF of the race, last lap, and he's unfortunately ended his season this year early. Although hopefully we do see him back in FS1 next year, as we see Craig Patterson battling here with Omari Watson, and he's come out on top in quite a good fashion. Fair play to Craig Patterson, although he still does have Omari behind him, gone defensively. Frank Hamming also there, Omari Watson around the outside, and he makes it stick, although Craig is not giving up quite easily. is still there, although he does have the outside line here. And Frank Hamming could also look here to take the advantage of... Oh, he does! Frank Hamming takes the advantage, and Craig Patterson loses 2 places in the span of a sector and a half.
Yeah, so if you look at the lead as well, Micah is 3 seconds clear of Quint. And that's come out of nowhere at all, really. So he's got an enormous lead. So, yeah, Quint's not able to hang on to that pole position. And he's got pressure from Taras now with the queue of cars all ready to see what happens next. So, yeah, something happened to Quint. And Micah has a gigantic lead.
It would be interesting to see how Micah overtook Quint and how he's already built up such a big gap, because I feel like Mike Quint would not let Mateusz by so easily. There had to have been a mistake in there by Mike somewhere, although I'm not putting it past him that Mateusz does have the skills to pull off so hard. Oh no, Mike Quint did not make any mistakes. It looks like he's letting off. He's not being as aggressive this race as they were last race, the 2 multi-forces. Their strategy this race appears to be just finishing in the points, and this is what happened to Krzysztof Piechikola, and he spun and he's decided to not continue. So interesting there, as we see what happened to Sam McNally here with him drop down quite a bit. Tagged, and he's taken one of the... He's taken someone else with him.
Russo.
Yeah, Russo taken with him, although Russo did pull away a bit faster. Osama Knali now down in 25th. Osama Russo? Russo still in front of him though, and that'll be an interesting battle to keep watching. The 2 MS performances down in 26th and 27th. Not a good day for them today.
No. That's a terrible shame to see their year end like this. They've been one of the teams established from scrap in 2024, and they've really taken the FS1 championship by storm with a raft of victories, whether it be Ivanov, Rualt, or I think, yeah, Freyla got one as well. So they've had Satterley as well, of course. Satterley got a win. So 4 different drivers have all won in an MS performance car, but it's some of their weaknesses as well that have been punished this season. They got a 19th and a DNF in Azerbaijan race 2. So when it goes wrong on MS performance, it is absolutely deflating on them. So that is something, hopefully, if they can regroup in 2025, that's how they can improve. From a brilliant start, of course, almost championship contenders. Yeah, it's just getting through the hardest days. That's what they need to do. So now Taras is closing down Mike Quint here. So yeah, of course, the tire strategy, of course. So Micah on softs, he needs to pull away to make sure he can complete his stop and fight back as hard as he can. So yeah, Quint's perhaps wisely not needing to put energy into the tires, and meaning he can grab those points necessary to outscore Netrex and deliver the title for Multiforce.
Interestingly, only 3 drivers currently on track on soft. That would be Ivanov, Lucchini and Micah, so most of the drivers seem to be following vaguely the same strategy except those 3, so it would be interesting to see what their plan is. Victor Ivanov, of course, did have to pit, so we assume he switched to softs during that pit stop. Initially started the race on the hards, so interesting to see what strategy they've swapped to there. Lucchini and Micah though have started on softs, so what their strategy is unknown. As we see Taras here chasing down Mike Quint. Mike Quint, of course, just the aim to finish the race in points and get as many points as possible, of course, so they're not going to be as aggressive as they were in race 1, as I repeat myself. Oliver Taras could be getting Mike Quint quite soon here, as we see what happened to Stefan Rohr. Going down the straight, and he's pulled over.
Yeah, that's unusual as well, but I suppose if he feels there's nothing left to be won or lost, then he just decides to pull over and concede defeat. So that's him out of the race. And here's Russo, who was previously in that collision with Nani. That's a teeth-shattering collision with the right-hand side of the car. So yeah, that could potentially be suspension damage.
That is definitely suspension damage. Federico was lucky enough to not lose a wheel, although the extent of his damage is unknown so far. We'll see on the onboard now how his steering wheel will have to be adjusted after he gets onto the main straight, of course. And doesn't appear to be too big, but of course any amount of suspension damage will impede any driver. And Federico not having the best of race twos today. Didn't have the best of race ones either, being taken out at the start.
Not at all, but I suppose, yeah, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, you can, certainly be proud of his commitment to the series. So many point scores. Like, he managed to pull off a huge streak of scoring points throughout the campaign. It's just a shame the last portion of the season has been tough on him, but yeah, that's more the reason to take the break and come back fighting in 2025. So our battle at the moment is between Robin Mulling and on camera at the moment. At the moment, it's like Munier. So Munier just trying to find any openings against Mulling, but it's pretty slim pickings at the moment.
That is true, like Munier chasing down Robert Mulling, and there's a bit of a train, I guess you could say, here, forming up between Mike Quint, Oliver Taras, Shimon Frelick, Mikko Lucchini, Robert Mulling, Loic Munier, all within it. And that could potentially not be good, as Remco reads my mind and shows Harry Smith. Both of the Netrex is chasing down the Hyperion of Guzovsky, and there's a bit of a train there as well, so both of the Netrex could gain quite a lot of positions here if they play their cards right. They could go up to, that would be 8th and 9th if they clear the little train in front of them. Owen?
Yes, Lorenzo, that's their target now, just to get up to Menno Clont. To be honest, that would be at least a little bit of a consolation prize if they can get a battle with Menno Clont, but he's at the other end of the train in 8th position. So yeah, if there's any way past Matthews Guzovsky, then yeah, they need to get it done nice and quick, as we are near a halfway point, not quite there yet, but you can just see Philip Koenig. I think he wants to make a move on Jason Muscat. So let's try and keep an eye on the background there, see what may occur. So will Muscat pull out for an attack? No, I think he wants to slot in behind a bit more.
And Harry Smith got very, very close to Guzovsky there, so we could see him overtaking as very soon as we see Philip Koenig lining up a move potentially on Jason Muscat, and he's not close enough yet, although he could be very, very close on the start finish straight. He very nearly had him leading up to turn 4, although the DRS was not quite strong enough, seeing as Muscat also had the DRS from Menno Clont. A bit of a DRS train, I repeat myself again, forming here from P8 down to P14 now, from Clont to Hamming. So yeah, it's going to be very, very hard for any one driver to pull away and make a move on someone else within this train, seeing as they all have DRS, they're all being helped from one another. Although Philip Koenig now fallen off a bit from Jason Muscat. He's now close to Guzovsky, at least it appears so to me, than he is to Muscat. and I don't think he'll be making a move on him here. Although will Guzovsky... No, I'm sorry, we are watching Guzovsky right now, and Harry Smith is very, very close to him. He could be eyeing a move here. Will he? He does not get given the space he would have probably liked. So nothing from the move yet as we reach the halfway point of the race. Mateusz Guzovsky still keeps P11 from the two Netrexes behind him. And the two trains in front from P1 to P7 and from P8 to P14 in their own little world, to be quite frank with you, Owen.
Yeah, they have fallen off the contest for the top 7. Yeah, they're kind of cut adrift. So yeah, Menno Clant down to Frank Hamming. They're all nice and bunched up together. Daniel Scott in fifth. Oh, we have pit stops. So Micah and Lucchini, their decision to go halfway. So they get a brand new set of softs and they'll try again. So Mike Quint re-inherits the lead, and they're using the same pit box, ironically enough. So Micah out of the points now. He's got to claw everything back that he's conceded, but he's got the best set of tyres possible, and he's got another 13 laps or so to do it.
And I feel like Mateusz could do it, seeing as he has already pitted, and he's pitted for soft as well, so he has saved his tyres quite well. He has gone half distance on softs, so he can definitely go half distance on softs again as well. And seeing as the rest of the grid does have to pit, or maybe they don't, well, the rest of the grid is on hards, so it remains to be seen. Will they be pitting at all? Will most of the other drivers be able to keep their tyres in check until the end of the race, or will the tower prove to be too much for them and Mateusz will capitalize on it, as well as Mirko Lucchini? As we already see Mateusz Micah making a move down the inside of Flack, and he's got him before turn 1 as well.
That's right, yeah, he got a better exit out of the Zeeuw, so that was really important. And Munier, that's pass set up. He's got part 1 done, now he wants to finish it up. Oh, a bit of contact nearly. Rubber getting right amongst it there, so rubbing is racing. And Munier has completed the pass. Now that looked tetchy, but thankfully they got through it. And Munier has 4th position. And now that Micah pitted for a new set of softs, so yeah, it will be a case of can he just surge his way back up the field. He's 15.5 seconds off the lead, so got to gain about a second a lap to stand a chance. Oh, we got trouble.
As we see yellows flags, Astenius and Patterson falling down the order, and don't tell me Craig Patterson, the only VMS on track that was involved in an accident. He's dropped 2 or 3 positions now, and we will see the replay now of what happened. Craig Patterson here, we see him, he's getting lapped here, I think. So, oh, we just lost the control of the car, and oof, done fairly well to get out of the way right in time. But fortunately enough, he can continue the race. Nothing damaged in the incident there.
Yeah, so Mike,
maybe a flat spot on the tyre, but he will pit, assume.
So that would have been a frightener to Mike. He wanted to overtake Patterson, and yeah, he had to make a dodge to keep his car intact. So now he's right on the case of James Knox. So KKR want a fair shake at this race too. They've got Tylene in 14th at the moment, and Knox, you can see his red helmet from a mile away. But Micah in the red car just wants to use every piece of the concrete and the tarmac to make his move, and perhaps it will be the lineup into the DRS that he's got to do it. So yeah, he'll back off just a little bit. Now he'll have the power, he'll have the traction, and then soon the DRS to help him through. So he's got to pick his moment to avoid the worst of the bumps on the surface, and now he'll power through most likely. Here he goes.
Yes, he does. He makes a very, very nice move into the Senes's amazing racing man, Mateusz Schmeichel. He's gained 4 positions in 3 laps, so those softs are making wonders for him currently. And seeing as the rest of the drivers are all on worn tyres, they're all just hitting ducks for him if he manages to conserve his tyres in the right places, attack at the right places, and make the moves stick, not lose the positions again. We could see him back in the train that Menno Klont has formed behind him.
Right you are, Lorenzo. Let's see what could happen here. This is our lead battle with Taras in the middle at the moment. So Freilich is watching, wanting to see if he can pull off the double. Mike Quint with these 20 points for a sprint race win will wrap up the Teams Championship in Multiforce GP's favour, giving them the double, similar to what Freilich experienced as the winning team of TOP last year. Of course, he wasn't the champion in the drivers' standings, it was Jack Mayer. So, yeah, the torch will officially pass over to, at the moment, Multiforce, but Netrex, they're fighting with everything they've got. They've got Koenig defending Harry Smith at the moment, so yeah, this is Netrex's final stand. A bit of a warning shot there from Koenig. Don't overtake me, but Gazowski's on the inside. Oh, so close.
That was very, very, well, I wouldn't say dangerous, but that was very, very weird by Philip Koenig. He did give Harry Smith a bit of a scare, opened up space for Gazowski to try and make an overtake. Fortunately enough for Harry Smith, he did manage to stick it, although Netrex not doing as well as they hoped they would be. Of course, started all the way down the order. They've done well enough to get where they are currently, although these points are not going to be enough. They need to get past Koenig, they need to get Watson past Gazowski, they need to get both of them past Koenig and Muscat, Klont as well. I feel like the top 5 is not going to be reachable for Netrex, as we see Harry Smith overtake Philip Koenig with a bit of contact, and Gazowski goes through as well. So Gazowski and Koenig both now separating Watson from Smith. As I see Watson potentially lining up a move here. No, not quite close enough, although he could be eyeing up something here. This appears to be a fairly popular spot today for overtaking, surprisingly, although he's not quite close enough for that. And Mario Watson still sitting in 11th, Harry Smith in 8th, with Gazowski and Koenig 9th and 10th. As we see James Knox dropping as well, overtaken by Patrick Rorschach, I presume.
Yeah, he was ahead of Flack and Rorschach together, but he's lost 2 positions back to back, so that's a tough one to take, but you push on. I'm sure it's still a little while to go, another 6 laps, and yeah, we're going to cross the line to get these drivers onto lap 19 as well. So yeah, big group all together. We have Hamming trying his best to attack Watson, but at the moment no luck. Here's the fight back. Here's Micah. He's got the soft tires still in a brilliant window. He got a purple sector 1, and he's gonna duck to the inside. Hamming no option but to concede that one. So Micah, he's only 12.5 seconds behind the leader, so his time is running out. He's coming across drivers capable of podiums and race victories, so this could be where the experiment backfires on the FS2 champion.
Yeah, I feel like Mateusz Schmeichel, when he pitted for the softs, knew that he will not have the chance to get the race win. Although I am fairly confident that he himself was confident he would be able to get back up into the top 10, potentially top 5. Although the gap between Robert Merling and Menno Klont is quite big, seeing as we're now with 4 laps to go. Micah down in 12th and Klont in 6th, so Micah still has to overtake 5 people to even get close to Klont, and Klont and Merling. Although the performance is done ever since pitting, and in this round in general, has been admirable, and he's shown why he is the FS2 champion, and that he does not have to be worried for FS1 next season.
Right, sure, yeah. So he wants to demonstrate what he can do in the next step up on the career ladder here in GPVWC. And he's going to go right around the outside at Larangina, holding as best he can, staying within track limits. But yeah, I think the left-hander downhill will suit him. He should have the better traction without a doubt. And he is through. So Micah takes another point off Netrex, and their dwindling hopes of winning the team's championship. So as it really stands, if Menno Klont in 6th place, if he does that defensive job for his team, then yeah, it's pretty much all over.
And that was a very lovely move by Mateusz Schmeicher as well on Omari Watson, as we see Szymon Frelich overtaking Oliver Taras, entering the center S, as Mike Quinn does not have that big of a gap as you would expect in the lead. Szymon Frelich only half a second behind Mike Quinn, with Oliver Taras right behind him, unlike Meunier being right there as well, as we see Mateusz Schmeicher has overtaken Philip Koenig already as well. Although Philip Koenig is not that far away, he's still there posing a threat to Mateusz Schmeicher, although I don't think that he will be able to pose much of a threat for much longer. I feel like Micah has his I think Micah, oh, he's already close to Guzovski with quite an interesting and aggressive line there. And Mateusz Schmeicher has gained quite a lot in Sector 2 on Guzovski. And we could see him line up a move entering the center S here on Guzovski. Eoin?
Yes, Lorenzo, it should be the preparation time now for Micah to get into the single digits now on position. So 10th place should become 9th. He'll line it up coming into the peak of his slipstream, 290 kilometers per hour. Yeah, he's right on the gearbox. He's got the inside line. And from one Matthews to the other, it's now Micah ahead of Guzovski. And look at that, he's just got so much speed. Harry Smith versus Muscat. This is another distraction with Menno Klont in the front of the field. So Smith down the inside potentially. Oh, he could have compromised his exit speed now. So here comes Micah. Look at this. It's unbelievable. Potentially 4 cars abreast. Oh my word.
Mateusz Schmeicher going down inside. Oh, a bit of contact there between him and Jason Muscat, although he still has the inside line entering the turn. And it does take P8 from Jason Muscat, although he is still there on the inside line. Although it doesn't help him, Jason Muscat down to 9th. Guzovski right there as well on his outside. Although entering now the next turn on the inside, Jason Muscat drops 2 positions in 3 or 4 turns. Mateusz Schmeicher already on the gearbox of Harry Smith, as we see Szymon Frelich attacking Mike Quint for P1, and he does take it with 2 laps to go. Mike Quint has conceded the lead to Szymon Frelich, as we see Mateusz Schmeicher going down the inside of both Harry Smith and Menno Klont, and he takes P6, 2 cars at once entering the center S. Mateusz Schmeicher, you have nothing to worry about in FS1 next year, my friend.
Oh yeah, this is just a star-making performance here from the future of our series. He's really going to be a contender if he gets the right team on board with him. So now Harry Smith under pressure from Guzovski into Paradura, and then they're lining up the next right-hander, of course. Oh, contact there. You can see that's Frank Hamming wanting to have a piece of this action now that he's ahead of Muscat. So Muscat is really backed off in the last lap or so. But now one last hurrah between Multiforce and Netrex, the head-to-head contest we didn't get to see in race 1, unfortunately. And around the outside, Smith using all the track that he can, neck and neck with Klont. And of course Guzovski wants to have a shot as well. He's through on Smith. we will be a big trouble now for Clont because he won't have DRS now, Lorenzo. Let's see what happens.
I think Guzowski will clear the both of them on the inside, as we see Frank Hamming as well getting there 4 wide, entering the center S, and Guzowski comes out on top. Harry Smith now in 8th, Hamming and Clont. Clont loses 3 positions there between the start of the main straight and the center S. So not very good defensively, unfortunately, for Mena Clont there. And he's dropping down now. Jason Muscat clears him as well. Did he get damaged there potentially? We do not know. As we see Massimiliano Rimboli dropping down the standings as well. And Guzowski... No, Micah's overtaken Meunier.
Yeah.
Micah up into P5 on the last lap.
Yeah, something's happened to Meunier. We'll figure it out exactly on the replay. So there he is. Behind Taras, up to Ferradura. He's
into the wall. And the rear wing is gone.
Yeah.
And while we're watching the replay, Szymon Frelik wins the last race of the season.
Yeah.
Rounds up the FS1 2024 season with a race win. Lucas Taylin trying to get P10 here on Daniel Scott, and he might just... No, he won't. Yet another photo finish here at Interlagos. And Mike Quint finishes P2. The driver champion helps Multiforce become Constructor champion, and very nearly we had a repeat, essentially, with Mike Quint winning the race 2 of round 1 at Melbourne. He almost won race 2 at Interlagos, the last round of the season. Oliver Taras for Lunark in P3. Robert Merling up in P4. Mateusz Mike in P5. Guzowski P6, having 7th. And Netrex, Omari wasn't ended the race in 14th, although Harry Smith put up a valiant effort and got P8 in the end. Manu Club dropped to 12th in the end. As we see Szymon Frelik here doing donuts, celebrating his race win. 2 race wins today, in fact. As we see the full standings now, Szymon Frelik for Grifone, 2 race wins today. Mike Quint, driver champion, wins the Constructors as well at Multiforce. Oliver Taras with Lunark in 3rd. Robin Merling in 4th. Mateusz Mike in 5th. Mateusz Guzowski in 6th. Frank Hamming in 7th. Harry Smith for Netrex in 8th. Philip Koenig for Grifone in 9th, and Daniel Scott, Team Rookie Monster, in 10th. Very good races by the Team Rookie Monster team and the Parallax Rupina Racing. Unfortunately, only Mateusz Mike gaining points in race 2. If I'm correct, no, I am not correct. Lucas Taylin for Kaizen Racing in 11th. Menaclon dropped to 12th in the end for Multiforce, although they still won the Constructors. Owen Kulhagsvik still the only one getting points for 100 to 1 in 13th. Omari Watson down for Netrex in 14th. And Patrick Roszak getting the double points for Parallax Pino in 15th. Mirko Lucchini in 16th for Alpha Delta. Massimiliano Riboli in 17th. Scott Flack 18th for Pixelate. Jason Muscat also dropped down in the last 2 laps massively to 19th. And Federico Russo in 20th for the other Alpha Delta. Craig Patterson finished 21st in the only VMS Sun in his car today. Like Meunier had that crash, managed to cross the line, although he dropped down massively from 5th to 22nd. James Knox, not a good race today, 23rd. Osama Kanani in 24th. Nils Astenius in 25th in the other 100 to 1. The 2 MS performance cars of Victor Ivanov and Stefan Ruot in 26th and 27th, with Ruot being a DNF, and Krzysztof Piechikolan, the first and only other DNF of the race, 28th and last, as we see Szymon Frelik entering the pit lane there with style to celebrate the win.
Oh, absolutely, Renzo. Yeah, it is a phenomenal season for Frelik. He entered 9 of our 16 rounds, so he participated in 18 races, and I calculate that he won 10 of them, so more than half of his possible entries were victories. So that goes to show you what a splendid driver he is.
I'm sure that... Continue, Owen, for me. Continue.
Yeah, so Yeah, it is a tough one to swallow for Netrex. We will certainly give our commiserations to them. They were so close to winning the title. The driver pairing participated in every single round as a group, so it must be so bitterly disappointing to lose out. They've been remarkably robust, but unfortunately their bad luck has really bitten them now. They were very regular podium settlers, but unfortunately they didn't get any more podiums after Italy race 2, so they were just hanging on as best they could with their buffer of points. But yeah, just they needed today to work out for them. I'm afraid it has not.
It hasn't, and yet again, I would like to see how the constructors have ended in the end after all of the DC decisions and everything, because I feel like MS Performance, no, they were not caught by AGP. I feel like race 2, even though both MS Performances did not get points in race 2, I think AGP did not get the points they needed, with Jason Muscat dropping to 19th to overtake for them for P3 in the standings. Although I think that we still will see quite a lot of changes in the constructors. I'm fairly confident Griffon did overtake Alpha Delta for P5 in the constructors. I think Parallax Rupino have taken KKR, Kaizen Kota from P7. I think Lunak, I think I can confidently say that Lunak have also overtaken Kings Racing for P9, although that is up for debate, I would say, seeing as both Kings and Lunak did have quite a mixed bag of results today. Like Mooney and Osama Kanani both not getting points in race 2. Osama Kanani not getting points for Lunak in race 1. However, Oliver Taras did get a double podium, if I'm not mistaken. So he racked up a lot of points for Lunak there. Kings Racing as well had Loic Meunier, and God Almighty, my brain has stopped working.
Yeah, we're just starting.
But I think my point has come across. Apologies for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, we'll have to verify everything. Of course, there could be any post-race penalties dished out, but yeah, that'll be done in time. But yeah, our interview segment should be about to begin momentarily. We are getting names appearing in the waiting room. I suppose the obvious first choice, we should get the Multiforce group together. So Menno and Mike, I'll drag them in to chat. And Lorenzo, you wanted to have a lead with the questions, so yeah, give it your best shot.
Thank you, Eoin. As we welcome to the interview room now, after everything's been settled on track, we get to the off-track action with the Multiforce GP lineup. Menno, Klont, Mike Quint, congratulations, double championship.
I think I speak for myself, but I think also for Mike that we're a bit speechless. We trained really hard for this round because we were 4 points behind, but we knew our rivals would have put in a lot of effort as well. And then you look at race 1, and that could have gone either way. And then you have the start incident, and the race got decided that I think we were more fortunate. I got hit from the rear, but my car was still intact, and at the end of race 1, we knew we were in a really good position, and then we just needed to make it pull it over the line in race 2. That was, I think, mentally really hard because I think I had much more praise from my side, but it's just pulling it over the line that was very, very difficult because I really wanted this for Multiforce. So from my side, it was very stressful. But yeah, I'm mega proud about that.
Yeah.
Yes, and you've mentioned, sorry to interrupt, Mike, you did mention race 1 with the starting incident. That ultimately proved to be a bit of a deciding factor, as in the end, Mike, I did see you not being as aggressive in race 2, with Menno doing most of the defending. In the end, Menno, you were involved in a bit of a scuffle with about 2 or 3 laps to go. You did drop down to P12 in the end. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, well, I think it was just the tires. They went off a bit quicker than expected, and a bit wrong slide put me out of position. Yeah, then I decided I needed to just fight the rivals really hard, but in a fair way. I think me and Harry actually touched, but it was not an intentional touch. It was just, I think, unlucky. But yeah, I knew we were in a good position, and yeah, just needed to make the finish. I needed to avoid the car in at the final lap, which I think made me lose 2 or 3 positions. So I could have had P10, I think. Yeah, it was a very hard race. I think mentally, if I look at my practice pace, I was really good this round. I think Mike knows that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And but this is different factors are at play here, and it's not only the skill level, but it's also the mental game. And when you know you have a shot in an open goal, you still need to score. And yeah, that was I found it more difficult because I really wanted this. But I do know the rivals really wanted this as well, and I just feel for them because they were really good this season. They were really consistent, and this championship has been decided on, just like fine details, and I think they shouldn't forget that they did an amazing job, and yeah, in the end we got it, and yeah, in the end there can only be one winner, and I'm very happy and grateful we are that.
Ultimately, the Constructors Championship did go down to the wire between the 2 most active and most consistent teams, that is correct. And speaking of those 2 teams, what are the plans for Multiforce GP for next season? Will we be seeing you 2 together in the same lineup next year, potentially in SL2, or will you be staying in FS1? Anything you can share with us today?
Well, all will be revealed at a later date, I guess.
Yes.
There's now time to relax. Just a bit de-stressing. I'm really happy that I don't need to race anymore because it was a long season and I'm very invested. I think for Mike as well. But I'm happy the season now has come to an end because this was so mega stressful the whole season. I'm really happy the season now is ended. We can now relax and charge the batteries a bit for next year, and then we will see where we end up.
And you say the season was stressful, and I'm sure that you do have some very, very fond memories of this season. Any personal favorite moments, results, races of this season that you would like to share with us?
Imola for sure. It has to be Imola. Yeah, it's just the highlight of the season. Yeah. Everything that happened afterwards, the highlight is 100% Imola.
Yeah. Everything after Imola is just the filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can say it like that because Imola was that actually wasn't stressful. That just happened, and I had no stress that race, and it just happened. And Mike helped me mega there at that race, which was our 400 race. That with special livery was so amazing for me to win, but also to win after 9 years. We knew we had a goal there, and yeah, we had our ups, we had our downs, but I think in the end, this team's championship came down, of course, to Mike, who also won the drivers' championship, and he did the lion's share of the points, and yeah, for me it was sometimes difficult to just get good points, but I think a skill we both have is to avoid incidents, still drive hard, but always get something home, and that's I think in all practice sessions that was our case, and yeah, that's how we did it. But yeah, getting back on it, Imola was I think one of the highlights. For me, it was the highlight. The season was already a success from there, and then everything after was a bonus. I think for me and then for team boss Jason, the main aim was the drivers championship, because that was the most important one. We wanted to see Mike as a champion, so we tried to help him as much as we could. And afterwards, yeah, we knew when Mike clinched it 2 weeks ago. We knew, yeah, with 4 points, we could potentially do it, and yeah, we did it in the end.
Is there anything you two would like to personally add before we part ways with you? As I do see Shimon Frelick waiting for an interview.
Yeah, I did want to quickly say that obviously it's not the way you want to win, because it was at the end decided in a crash that could have gone both ways. I do feel for Netrex. I feel like, you know, it would have been nicer if we were able to battle it out on track, but you know, yeah, and there's nothing we could have done there. Yeah, I just wanted to have shared that. It was very unlucky on their side, and yeah.
Agreed.
Very unfortunate.
Agreed.
And very nice piece of sportsmanship there, shown by you, Mike.
Yes.
And I would just like to say thank you to both of you for being very consistent, very fair, and for keeping us company on and off the track this season. And I eagerly await to see you back on track next year, 2025.
Yes, thank you very much.
As I say goodbye to Menno Klont and Mike Wendt, constructors and drivers champion of 2024 FS1 season.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
As we are now joined by Shimon Frelick, who won both of the races today. Shimon, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, that was decent.
A man of little words.
Just some luck, some good pace, and some good tire management, and another double win. Although race 1 was in squeaky bum because I did an unsafe pit release.
Oh.
And I caused a lot of trouble to Guzovsky.
So we could be not seeing a double race win in that case.
It's all up to Guzovsky.
Fair enough. Although I will say your performances today, I think, have very much helped Griffon overtake Alpha Delta for P5 in the Constructor. So I think that that's settled. That if there aren't any major penalties for yourself or for Philip Koenig, you have gotten P5 in the Constructors Championship. So how are you feeling over there in the Griffon Esports garage?
It's a good achievement. When I joined the team, the goal was just to take each race, as they came. Just focus on each race individually, not the big picture. And the results came, and with that came my result in the driver's standings, and also the result for Griffon in the team standings. So yeah, we're happy with the results.
I see. And is there anything you would like to say is your highlight of the season? Because we talked about this on stream. I think Eoin said that you have basically a 50% win record this season in FS1. More than 50%.
10 out of 18 is more than half. So yeah, 9 rounds you got, Shimon, and 10 wins.
Yeah, that's a good start. But yeah. Does that count as a highlight?
I mean, is there any race?
I would think highlight would be like an individual round or race.
Yeah, which of your results was your best?
Well, it's difficult to choose now because I think I've got 3 double wins. I think it's a tough choice. I think Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan was just a perfect weekend. Nothing went wrong, and it was nice to get the double win on the line on the final lap. And yeah, that was one of the best race weekends I've done. Also, race 2 starting from P10, if I'm not mistaken. So that was, yeah, just the worst possible case for race 2 and still pulled out a win. Yeah, I'm very happy with Azerbaijan, but the whole season had a lot of good rounds and some very little, but some bad performances or mistakes. But yeah, it's just learning, taking it in, and it's time to get prepared for the next season.
Speaking of the next season, is there anything you are free to share with us regarding the next season, whether you'll be staying in FS1 or moving up, moving down, staying with Griffon if you do decide to stay in FS1?
I don't think staying in FS1 is what I should be doing with how many wins I've got this season. I can tell you that since around June I've had a seat already for next season, and it's a seat in the top division.
Ooh.
So you'll be seeing me in Super League next season.
Well, I am very excited to witness that. And I can say I would like to thank you for keeping us company on and off the track this season, for giving your best out there, and I'm sure you'll continue to do that in 2025 in Super League 1, it would appear so. Shimon Frelik, thank you for joining us for the interview and for this FS1 season, and I wish you the best, and relax now that you can.
Yep, thank you.
Well done. So now we have Oliver Taras. He got a double podium, a second and a third today. So we'll give Oliver the floor in our broadcast room now.
Oliver, welcome to the interview room. Double podium today. How are you feeling?
Good. Very good. A bit annoying. So maybe could have won, but like, it's what it is, isn't it?
I mean, I feel like once all the points have been counted, your double podium will just be enough to overtake Kings Racing for 9th in the Constructors Championship. So not quite a win today in a race, but in the end, it does appear that you will have done well in the Constructors in the end, to an extent.
Hopefully. As long as, well, yeah, I think we passed him anyway. I don't think I've done anything to get a penalty. I hope. But we'll see. We'll see if Freilich gets a penalty as well. Because, I don't know, I didn't see it, but apparently he did obviously rejoin, well, not rejoin, but pit exit.
Yeah, he did say that he did have an unsafe pit release that impeded Mateusz Grzowski. So he did say it is up to Mateusz in the end whether he will get a penalty or not.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Obviously, it'll be a bit annoying to get my first win from a penalty, but I mean, got to take the points anyway.
Exactly. Speaking of first win, do you have any from previous rounds, any favorable moments from this season? Any race results, any race performances that you would like to look back on fondly from this season?
I think my SL2 Spa was quite good until my wheel disconnected. I mean, I wasn't expecting to qualify 4th and then be in the top 6 the entire race, but I just had the pace on the wets for some random reason.
What about FS1, however?
Baku was good. I got P2. I don't think I could have won that. I had very little pace on the hards, but I learned from that. I improved the pace. I think I've shown today, and yeah, like well, 2 weeks ago. I hope.
You have, I will admit. And now we enter the off season for FS1. However, SL2, SL1 still not finished. Will you be looking to get an emergency drive potentially for SL2 next week, or have you used them all up? And speaking of SL2, will you be moving up for next season, or will you be staying in FS1?
First question. I've got an offer to drive an SL2, but I've used all 4 of my emergencies. But we might be able to come to some terms. But I don't know who. Well, I don't know if he really wants me to drive or not, or if like someone else wants to drive instead. Because I'm not too bothered. I don't really enjoy the SL2 races that much. I find it quite similar to these, where you just have to sit in a train and wait. And then the next question was I going to stay here? Yeah, I'm going to stay in FS1 probably. I don't have any plans to moving up to SL2 yet.
Can we expect you to stay in Lunac colours, or is that something you are not free to share?
I guess we'll have to see. Don't know if the person wants me to share it yet, but I'll keep it disclosed for now.
Very, very ominous by you there, Oliver. And I do still see Harry Smith waiting for an interview, so unfortunately we will have to part ways. I would like to thank you for sharing with us your company through the season on and off track. And I'm excited to see you next season in FS1 again. Oliver Taras, thank you for joining us through the year.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
And now we get in the last interviewee of today, Harry Smith. Welcome aboard.
Hi.
So, how are you feeling after everything that's unfolded today?
I mean, gutted. To be honest, I don't really think there's any other way to say it. Yeah, it's a shame we weren't able to actually have the fight play out on track, and well, everyone saw what happened. I think I proved I had a lot of pace in the car today. It was 1/10 I needed in quali to get P4, and it would have all been avoided. And I really think I could have challenged at the front, based on the information that I've had from testing. And it wasn't meant to be. We obviously didn't get the championship.
Yeah, race one. Sorry.
I'm a bit lost for words. But ask me a question, because then I'll think again.
Yeah, I understand why you are a loss for words. Race one unfortunately didn't go to plan, but yourself and Omari did put up quite a valiant effort in race two, and very nearly you did get to where you wanted to be. Unfortunately, you just didn't have enough time. Omari in the end 14th, with yourself 7th, if I'm not wrong.
I think P6 was on the cards, even starting from so far back. I mean, it was on the cards, but there was a few questionable moves from people. But well, I'm not too bothered about it. It's over. It wouldn't have affected us in the championship, but it's still not nice to have it play out in that way. It's just a bit of a kick in the teeth when you're already dead, to be honest. But I'm pleased with the pace that I showed today. It showed what I can do if I really, really, really work on it. Because I mean, the whole team sort of came together, and we really, really wanted it today. I'm not sure. Like, it was insanely close in qualifying. I don't know where we went wrong there. That's been our strong point all season, but today it wasn't. Like, to be honest, I was expecting a 13.8 to be like P6 to P8, not P13 and P12. That was a bit of a shock. and then obviously we couldn't do anything from. We didn't even make it to the first corner. I mean, if it's by the regulations, then obviously nothing went wrong. But I do think consideration needs to be given to the point where it's classified as your race being over, because my understanding at the moment is it's if you directly DNF from the crash, which is basically your engine blowing up. Basically, I've only had my engine blow up once in the entirety of the time that I've been racing in R-Factor 2 now, which is 5 years. That can't be the threshold. It really can't be. It just can't. It's you have to hit it really quite hard and in a specific way for it to occur like that. But it's obvious that all of us that got involved in that crash were out of the race from not even the first corner. That's not fair. The rules need to be looked at in that case, because it's just it's. I'm not going to say it's cost us the championship, because we don't know what would have happened from then on, but it's cost us an opportunity at the championship, and that's not okay. I'm sorry, but it's not. And that's all I'm going to say before I get into trouble on that.
Yeah,
I just disagree with it.
I do feel your frustrations, and I do understand them. I'm sure that the higher ups of the league are potentially watching the stream right now, hearing you, and it could be something that we'll look into while the off season is in.
People are always going to have different opinions on rules, and I don't think I'll say I think the DC generally does a good job, and the rules are generally very good. I don't think there's a sport in the world where there isn't any controversial decisions, because that's what this is. It's a sport basically, and there's always going to be disagreements. There's always going to be stuff that doesn't quite fall within the rules, and I do think they generally do a quite good job. But I do think there's always room for improvement, and it's stuff like this does need to be looked into. But that's just my opinion. Whether my opinion matters or not is another thing. So, yeah, I'm going to stop talking now before I get into even more trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately, that race 1 crash did affect the outcome of the championship for yourself. However, looking past that, this season has been quite exceptional. Netrex being the only team to keep the same lineup for the entirety of the season. Is there anything you and Omari would like to look back on fondly from this season? Any specific race result or race performance?
Yeah, I mean, Germany and Suzuka are 2 highlights for me. I'm very proud that we were the only 2 teammates to not have to require a reserve driver, because I know that I do like rearrange stuff so that I could do this. I'm very committed to it. Whether that shows in my performance is another thing. But it's stuff like Baku. I was very, very ill, and I didn't even know if I could could last 1 lap, let alone 2 entire races around a straight circuit. But I knuckled down, and I ended up getting a few points. But I'm quite. Look, I said to Omari before the race, whatever happens, I'll look back on this fondly, because it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, I'll always wish it could have been, but it just wasn't, and that's okay sometimes. Because I've still got a lot that I can be grateful for, and I wouldn't trade the team and the people around me for anything. I'd happily finish last as long as I'm in this team and with these people around me, because that's what I'll say on that. And I think we've gone on long enough, though.
Yeah, I did just want to. No.
I'll let you one more.
Yeah, I just want to ask. You did mention the team, and have you wouldn't replace anything within it for anything else? Just a question before we'll let you go. Any plans for next season? Whether you'll be staying in FS1, moving up to SL2, or down to SFFS2? Anything in particular? Drive changes? I assume not, seeing as you have just stated you wouldn't trade anyone within the team for anything.
Yeah,
anything you can share.
Being honest, like the team is obviously a lot wider than myself and Amari, and I think that's pretty well known. It's pretty well known that we have a close relationship with MS Performance, considering I am the team manager officially. I have sometimes joked that because my name's so common, it's a different Harry Smith that runs that. But yeah, so I'm not gonna announce our plans for next season. I know what I'm doing, and I'll be in. Well, I don't think I'll be doing FS1 next year, is what I'll say.
I see. Well then, Harry Smith, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on track and off track for the entirety of this season, quite literally. And well, whatever happens to Netrex next season and to yourself, I do hope we get to see you both next season, wherever that would be. And I wish you all the best in the off season. Now you can finally relax.
Yeah, time to recharge and go again next year. But
yeah.
Thank you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Harry.
So, Owen, after these interviews, we can see we had heartbreak, we had happiness, we had impartialness as well, but from Shimon and Oliver. Quite a colourful selection of emotions we've had over the course of the season and after this race as well.
Yeah, of course. It is remarkable to have finally made it to the end of another fabulous season. It's been such a joy to cover it. Remco here as broadcast director, of course. Thank you so much to him. Ed Hunter, as you said, Lorenzo, you have taken over from him today, which is much appreciated. But of course, yeah, Ed has been absolutely amazing throughout the campaign for all of his efforts. Certainly, it was absolutely wonderful to have him alongside as a full-time FS1 co-commentator with me. So yeah, it's been a great success for our broadcasts. I think we've gave it a very best shot, and I'm looking forward to next season. I'll be back anyway, so there's another scoop for you, Lorenzo. I'll be here again, so I'm looking forward to another season. But yeah, as you said, yeah, we've had the Multiforce guys taking the plaudits, not the way they wanted, as they said. They would have preferred to do it head-to-head with the Netrex guys to prove who really, could be the best on this particular evening. But alas, that's the way it goes. And then Netrex with Harry Smith there just said he felt the rules about false start. If there are so many cars involved in a crash, and the fact that the cars don't DNF unless they're hitting a specific place, for example, maybe that is something that we could review. Yeah, of course, with Shimon wrapping up a 10th win of a season that he didn't get to really get going until he signed a contract with Grafone. It's absolutely remarkable. And then he gets his chance in the top division. So, yeah, lots of contrasting emotions. And, of course, whether it be up at the top of the grid or, as we saw, 100 to 1 and VMS, who were struggling a lot this season. They were just hoping to pick off some points. They both managed to get their results in the end, so great for them. And yeah, that leaves us to the end of the season in FS1, but of course Super Lights and Super Leagues finales are coming up next week as well, so there'll be the
don't forget Academy.
And Academy, of course, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a joy to watch. Hopefully they can participate
Academy
as well.
So yeah, a triple header to round off 2024. That should be absolutely brilliant. So I'm looking forward to that. And thanks again to all the viewers for making this season. It made you extra motivated to turn up and make sure all of our viewers who enjoy our streams, whether it be the live or the VODs, it does keep you going when you feel like maybe I could put in half an effort and it won't matter. Of course it matters because of how important the audience is. So I really do appreciate it. And that'll be all for me, Lorenzo. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you for having me today, Eoin. As I did say, I did replace Ed today, who has an exceptional job on commentary with yourself this season. And as I did say earlier, I'm very excited to see the both of you back in the commentary booth next year. Hopefully I do get more chances, hopefully I am more available for commentary across the series, not just FS1, more often. I definitely will be in the summer. That's all I can confirm from June to October. Yeah, June to October, June to September. I should be free to not only do Academy, but commentate hopefully as well across the series. I can say myself that I have entered and hopefully will get accepted with Formula Sprint 2 team. Yeah, hopefully we do get accepted, and hopefully if we do, that we do well. And yeah, it's been a joy to be a part of GPVWC this season. Unfortunately not from the start, but I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here as part of the media team and of the wider community. And I look forward to 2025, the 26th season of GPVWC.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's call it a time and a season. FS1 is in the history book. And thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm Eoin Harmon. Alongside me has been Lorenzo Eterovic, Remco Zeeuw in broadcast direction. Thank you. Enjoy your off season if you're in FS1. And stay tuned next week for the other finales. Bye-bye for now. See you next season.
Goodbye, all.